Hello, viewers of African Media. Welcome to this edition of the Pan-African Debate. Another moment for us to discuss issues and events that are shaping the African continent. Today, our eyes are focused on Cameroon, and we shall be discussing Cameroon. This day, on November 6, 2025, President Biya took the oath of office for an unprecedented 8th term, placing Cameroon at a decisive crossroad. As the country enters this new chapter, urgent questions loom large about the future direction of governance, diplomacy, and economic recovery. President Biya's new term opens against a backdrop of diminished international standing. The diplomatic cold soldier threatens to isolate Cameroon, jeopardizing crucial foreign investments and strategic partnerships that are vital to the country's economic ambitions. Cameroon faces mounting financial pressures, with a public debt estimated at about 14.6 trillion CFA francs, presenting nearly 44% of GDP as of September 2025. Without urgent and credible reforms, this risks economic instability, of course, as economic instability grows daily. Domestically, the socio-economic landscape remains fragile. The ongoing crisis in the Anglophone regions perpetuates unrest, while widespread disenchantment among youth due to unemployment, poverty, and stark inequality fuels frustration. Infrastructure decays, most visibly in dilapidated roads, further stifles economic momentum and deepens regional disparities. Inflation and rising living costs are squeezing families across Cameroon, eroding purchasing power and heightening public dissatisfaction. Citizens demand concrete solutions, job improvement or improved health care, modern infrastructure, and accountable leadership that delivers tangible results. President Biya's 8th term is a pivotal moment. His government must confront intertwined challenges head-on with both political, social, and economic reforms. Yet questions remain: will this term bring genuine transformation, or will we witness a continuation of the status quo? Biya's familiar soundbites about youth and women empowerment have echoed for 4 decades with little substantive change. Cameroonians seek more than a rhetoric. They want roads that connect, jobs that sustain, and institutions that function independently and transparently. Stay with us as we discuss more on President Biya's 8th term as he takes office as Cameroon's president on this edition of the Pan-African Debate. Welcome to join us. It's another pleasure. It's another day and another moment for us to discuss deeply on Mr. Biya's 8th term. We're looking at the possibility of change, or will we be expecting just what many believe, a continuity of the status quo? That's our key topic of discussion for the day. We'll be expecting to hear from you. Your contributions will greatly count. We shall open the lines to get your calls directly during the program. If you're watching us via Facebook, be rest assured we shall equally read your comments. If you're there, leave us a comment on Facebook. We shall read them here. Tell us about what you think about Mr. Biya's 8th term as he begins this 8th term of office to lead Cameroonians after taking the oath of office on November 6th at the National Assembly after winning the October 12th presidential election. Stay with us this day. We'll be discussing that with a handful of experts, political analysts, and politicians who join us this day on the program. Let's begin with the lady who is joining us via Zoom on the panel this day is Ma Marilyn Dua. You are the host of Zoom In Show on AfroSat TV. Madam Marilyn, it's a pleasure having you on this edition of the Pan-African Debate.
Good morning, Luis. Thank you for inviting me once again. Good morning to our viewers all over the world. Greetings from Washington, D.C., where protests are planned by the supporters of Mr. Chiroma, and counter-protests have been planned by supporters of Mr. Biya. I would like to remind all Cameroonians that now that the elections are over, it is time for nation building, and we are all on the same team. Good morning to my illustrious panelists. Looking forward to an enlightening debate according to the customs and traditions of our forefathers and foremothers. The force of argument and not the argument of force. Thank you. I'm going to term this debate Biya'S eighth term opportunities and challenges. Looking forward to having a great debate. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ma Marilyn Dua. And that's the big question which many are asking. Will there be meaningful change or will there be a continuity of the status quo? Thanks very much for accepting to be part of the program this afternoon. Let's talk with you. Welcome you as well. Let's welcome Maitre Alex Nzive. You are a legal expert and you join us from the United Kingdom. Maitre Alex Nzive, it's a pleasure having you on the program. Maitre Alex Nzive, you have to on your microphone, please. Well,
you know, you're on mute. Just click on the microphone. You're still on mute, Mola.
Yes.
Click on the microphone.
Well, Maitre Alex Nzive, is it?
Mola, just click on your microphone.
All right. While we're waiting for Maitre Alex Nzive to connect, Maitre Alex Nzive, I think it's good now. Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Luis. It's always a pleasure to be on your program. My warm greetings to Padia Sanga, Mandwa, and Dr. Taka. And I want to send my beautiful greetings to the beautiful people of the Cameroons. I hope to have a warm and good debate on your program. Thank you. I'm always a pleasure to be here.
Thank you very much, Maitre Alex Nzive. You're a legal expert, and it's always a pleasure having you. Thank you for always accepting our invitation. Padia Sanga, you are equally there on Zoom this afternoon. You're a member of the Social Democratic Front, the SDF party. Padia Sanga, it's a pleasure having you, Abaka boy. Thanks for accepting to be part of the program.
Yes, Luis, it's always a pleasure to meet old friends on your panel. You know, Maitre Alex is an old friend from the secondary schools, and we have fought many fights with relative results, depending on what part of the fence you are sitting on. And I personally was in Cameroon for campaigns and did what we did just to make sure that we respect the institutions and then we get what we can get, correct our mistakes, and move on. We are not militants of chaos. We are not militants who go out there and say things that we don't practice or practice things that we don't say. So we take the bull by the horns, do what we have to do, and the rest is for people to judge. You cannot walk on the street and see yourself in the mirror. Thanks for bringing me, and I wish to have a fervent and sincere debate with my man, Kangaroo Man, whom I believe should be in your studio. And also a pleasure to meet Dr. Taka for the first time. Thanks for bringing me in. You're welcome.
Thank you very much, Padia Sanga. Kangaroo Man, we're still expecting him to join us, notwithstanding. Thank you very much, Padia Sanga. It's a pleasure having you. And we equally have Dr. Julius Babila Taka. You're the chairman, CPDM US Campaign Task Force, and political scientist as well as media consultant, Dr. Babila Julius Taka. It's a pleasure having you, Doctor. Welcome to the program. Dr. Taka, you have to put on your microphone. You're muted, I guess.
Wow, thank you very much for Afrique Media for inviting me to this discussion today. I think this will give an opportunity for me to participate on your channel for the first time. And as one of the panelists already said, the lady, the elections, they came and they left. We are now moving forward to looking at what we can deliver for the nation. The president is elected by his party militants and sympathizers and friends, but the president now rules the entire nation for everybody.
Okay.
So I am excited about this topic for today, which is on the continuity, and I'm on the point that this continuity is not stagnation. This continuity is to leverage on the achievements of the head of state in the past 40 years and how he's going to leverage on it to take us to the finish line. So I'm looking forward for a very fruitful deliberations with Maitre Alex Nzive, a legal luminary. And I want to also let Metro know that I am a Boya born. I am a Mujuli, but a Mujuli born in Mukunda. So I grew up at Mulai Tutu's compound, opposite Chief Justice's house. So I am a Mukwe. And I believe that politics should be taking care of the regional imbalances that is in Cameroon. And I want to also thank the head of state before we go there, that I had the opportunity to be in Suela 5. Suela 5 was for those of us who were not indigenous Southwesterners, but we believe in the cause of Southwest. And I had been in politics when I was 15 years old. So I am an old hand in practical politics. And I also decided to pursue very senior degrees in political science, public administration, leadership, and what that, so I think we have the best minds. And my colleague, Padia Sanga, I have heard about you, I've read about you, I've watched you. You are a pillar within our political dynamics. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Julius Babila Taka. Thank you very much, gentlemen and lady. We are privileged, of course, to have all of you on this panel this afternoon to discuss on the meaningful change expected of Mr. Biya'S 8th term, or whether we'll be discussing continuity. We'll begin with you, Marilyn Dua. You just highlighted that the elections are over and it's time for nation building, as well as many believe that President Biya'S 8th term places Cameroon on the crossroad, and it's time for the big question: will there be meaningful change after 4 decades, or will we be continuing in the same status quo? With regards to the last mandate and the promises Mr. Biya made during his inaugural speech, what is different from what he's highlighted? Many believe it's just a rhetoric, the song bites we've heard before. Do you think anything was different in what he said? If at all, what do you think is different, Madam Merlindua?
Luis, I think the CPDM has an opportunity to start afresh. They were given a mandate by the people. No matter how slim it was, the CPDM has a mandate to govern. And it will be very unfortunate if they miss the opportunity that they have to reset and to start afresh. They need to start by going, building confidence in the people. Now is the time for governance, for great leadership. I want to see the president, and this is why those of us, although we respect our elders, this is why we were asking for a younger person. Is that it's time for the president to go out and build confidence in the nation, among the people. I want to see a president who is out there among the people. I don't want to see a ghost president that I don't see except when he's on his way to go to Switzerland. The government has an opportunity to do better. Within the ranks of the CPDM, I'm asking that I'm sure there are statesmen within the ranks of the CPDM, within the government, that can rise up to the challenge and do better for Cameroonians. You talked about the GDP being 44%. There's a lot of work to be done in terms of the economy, in terms of job creation, in terms of stability. We know about the Northwest and Southwest, about the North. There's a lot of work to be done for Cameroon to become competitive. I'm personally not concerned about the GDP, because with good policies, good economic policies, we'll be able to do better. I see Ibrahim Traore in a very short time has turned around Burkina Faso, has raised, money. So I'm not worried about the economy of Cameroon, because we have our natural resources. All we need is great leadership and good policies. So the CPDM has an opportunity. Mr. Biya gave a great speech, which was very meaningful. Hopefully, it's not going to be left only in words. He's going to implement it and put it into action. So I keep an open mind. We keep an open mind right now. Elections are over right before in March or next year. We're going to start preparing for the municipal and the parliamentary elections. But right now, we are all on Team Cameroon. We want the country to move forward. We are on nation building. And we are asking the government, the mandate that they have been given, we want to see good governance. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Ma Marilyn, for that opening statement, of course. Thanks very much for that. Now, Metro Alex Nzive, we're looking at what Marilyn just said. He's talking about the CPDM needs to build confidence, and she is calling on Mr. Biya to go out there and talking about the fact that Mr. Biya should not be a ghost president. We're talking about Mr. Biya at the age of 93, and with the appearance of the person we saw during the oath taking, do you think that someone will be expecting him to be out there? And do you think CPDM has what it takes at this time, 40 years after, to build confidence, like Marilyn is highlighting? Is there a possibility to build confidence? Is there a possibility for Mr. Biya to be out there, just like Marilyn said? Your mic, Metro Alex Ndiva, your mic is muted.
Will I just click on the microphone? Just click on
it.
I think it's good now, Med.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
I don't know why I keep on doing that.
Sorry.
Yeah, what I was ahead what Marilyn said. To me, it saddens me to see, instead of talking of a government, we keep on singing about Mr. Biya, Mr. Biya, Mr. Biya. I expect to see a government, but we should not fail to understand that what we have in that country is what? Is CNU rebranded. They changed their name. They have been there since independence. So it's not just CPDM. They have been there for more than 60 years. And to me, in order to you to have good governance, as Mandwa talk, he talk about good governance, open-minded, or all those things. The point is, there's something that we feel. I studied something in Guakele, which is monetary policy, central bank. The Cameroon is not a sovereign country. It's not independent. The Central Bank of Cameroon is Banque de la France. They manufacture their money. We don't control our governing means, controlling your monetary policy. France is the one that controls our monetary policy. They determine whether it's devaluation, economic growth, stability, and other things. So sometimes we should know these things. I studied this in Cameroon, not in the UK. So we are not independent. An independent country, independent, sovereignty, independent means supreme authority. But Mr. Biya and the CPDM, they are not in that position to run their economy. Motaze cannot decide that this is how I want to devalue my money, inflation, economic growth. He hasn't got that power. So they are just window dressing exercise political party. In order for you to look at the case scenario of Cameroon, you have to look at, there have to be a certain level field. What's that? We have centralization of power. Biya controls, or the CPDM control all the institutions. If you want economic growth, if you want to grow, you cannot have one person, or CPDM, the president is the executive, the judiciary, and the legislative. That's what is happening. It's in the constitution. The executive guarantees the independence of the magistracy. So Mr. Biya cannot be accountable to himself. You need an independent judiciary in order for you to transform a country. We have conflicts in the Cameroons at the moment. We have multiple protracted crises, long-term, for over a decade in Northwest and Southwest. We have Boko Haram. And what have happened? There have been people who have been displaced. There have been transfer of resources and all those things. You cannot govern a country when part of the country is sick. In Cameroon, you have suppression of dissent. You see, like people who are opposition, journalists, they arrest all those people, journalists, political party, they restrict civil liberty. You cannot build an economic under such situation, because it stifles economic and political reform. Again, there's corruption and the issue of governance in Cameroon. You have widespread corruption. I cannot name it. You know how many people have been to prison because of corruption. You know what Transparency International said about Cameroon. Then you have loyalty-based patronage system in Cameroon, lack of accountability, and in the use of taxpayers' money. That's why you have seen a lot of corruption. So you cannot build an economic or growth based on those situations. You have socio-economic challenges in Cameroon. Despite our rich in natural resources, there's a quarter of the population live below poverty line. There's unemployment and underemployment in Cameroon. So those things, you have to make sure you solve these things before you talk about economic growth. And Mr. Biya has been there for more than 40 years. Is it now that we think he can change something? To be honest, it's not easy to change the spot of a leopard. It's very, very difficult. And to me, I've looked also, I'm not only talking about Mr. Biya'S 8 term. If you look at the other way, I watch most of the opposition political party, they were not talking about monetary policy, interest rate. So to be honest, as is it Mandwa, one of the panelists said, if you are a president, you're a president for everyone. I believe CPDM government need experts who are not even in their party to build and construct that party. Because I know a lot of people who are in the CPDM, you need experts, whether it's architect, economists, lawyers, nurses, whether you're all over the world. If they think they can sit in their party and make sure that because they won the election, they can use only the members of their party, I believe it will be difficult for them. Because even President Ahijo, when he was in power, he made sure that he called people who were experts who were abroad to come back home so that they can develop the country. India is doing the same thing because it's not about sitting there and distribute minister to because of regional basis. If you're a minister, you're there to implement policies to change the country. A minister is not about a tribe or a region or whatsoever. It's about competence and meritocracy. Thank you.
Maitre Alex Nzive. Padia Sanga, you're a member of the Social Democratic Front, the SDF, and we're looking at the possibility of the CPDM-led government after 40 years to start afresh and to do what has not been done over these past years. Do you think there's a possibility for meaningful change, or should we be expecting continuity or of the same status quo? What do you think as a member of the opposition party in Cameroon?
The only thing that is constant in the world is change. And it depends in which direction you decide to change, or you can change by regressing, and you can also change by progressing. When I have said that, I would say there is something that we have to factor in coming from these past elections. These past elections there is a message, there is a coded message as far as the nation we call Cameroon is concerned. And when you decrypt that coded message, you get what the people are saying. Because when I listen to members of the CPDM party, they are rejoicing that Mr. Biya'S has won again. They are talking about 50%. Some people are talking about fraud and all that stuff. I concede all those to the electorate, because you would never have a scenario where you say there is democracy and then you talk about uniformity or unanimity. It doesn't exist anywhere in the world. When that one is said, now we get into decoding the message that has been sent to Mr. Biya'S and all those who are sitting around him. That's where your question of, and what Emmanuel was trying to say, comes in by asking us that they should do something and make sure that many people are involved, just like Maitre Alex was saying. This is the message that comes from this, and the message is not even in the ballot box. The message, I saw the message from those people on the streets, because I saw children who did not even vote, have never carried voters card from the age of 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Very few adults of matured age who even went and voted were on the street. What is the message? That there is a political consciousness that is transcending right to children who are 13, 14, 15 years old. And they were the ones who we saw on the street. So it tells you that we have come to a point where Mr. Biya'S and his friends who took over this country at very at their glaring age should do something and leave. And what we are saying is this, and this is where the SDF comes in with her political program. We need a new social contract, which is based on indirect rule. not the strong man who would appoint 20,000 Cameroonians. It is not possible. When you live in such a system, you get into a system what you call quid pro quo, pay to play. People pay to play, and then when they get into the play, what they do, they want to get remittances for paying. They want to get benefits. So the question coming from this election, the social contract is not holding. It is not even about Mr. Biya. It is not even about Mr. Biya, because there were too many offers out there. But what did we get? Some people, some old people came with old tactics, telling us that they know better. Then we Cameroonian youth should choose between a good and a bad devil. In a country where there are angels, how do we talk about devils? That is the fundamental question, because the last person I could ever think that Cameroonians would predicate would be Miss Issa Chiroma. Whether he won or he did not won, there is also another way to see it. I hear people saying that they are fraud, the elections were fraudulent. And when they are saying that, they are mocking those of us that we had 1%. They are mocking other opposition, you had 3%. And then you say you are fraud. If they were fraud, then you should say the elections should be cancelled and don't say that you won. Because the results that you are attributing to us from the institutions that are supposed to give the final result are the same result that you are attributing to us. So assume the result that you have been given. Or we move on and come together as Cameroonians and advocate for a new social contract as the way forward. That could be achieved, because we hear people talk about federalism. There is only one political school of thought that carries that word federalism in her DNA, and that's the SDF. I hear people who say elections should not take place in the Northwest and Southwest region. What did they do? Issa Chiroma said he will give us a federation and then he will liberate our prisoners. Who did not say that in all those campaign trails? He repeated exactly what Honorable Joshua Osi was saying. Those who did not have blood in their hands will be released, and the other people who have blood into their hands will be, their cases will be looked upon individually. How they got there. That's what Issa Chiroma said, without having a political program. Now, people are talking about Mr. Biya having 51%. Normally, in a very serious democracy, it should even be 31, 41, or 31, 32, and so on and so forth. So we have not gotten to that critical political thinking, which would help us of the opposition deal away with the system. Because when you are listening to this message, this uncoded message that was sent to Cameroonians, you also understand that we had 8 million people, but only 4 million votes. What do those people who went and registered and decided not to vote think? Because the message is this, and it's very clear. It's more of the same, since many people started saying no to bomb jab, our good devil, our good devil. So who helped to bring the situation this way? They are our brothers and sisters who said that elections don't matter, but they are coming today to say no, Malam Bakari has a program and so on and so on. So we have to sit down and think. I am a fervent advocate of an Anglophone president. I am a fervent advocate that Anglophone should sit down first and come out with a new strategy, a new dynamic to be able to protect their interests, and why not an Anglophone caucus within the parliament. So for now, I want to rest my case and listen to the other panelists as we move forward. Thank you for having me.
Thank you, Padia Sanga, member of the Social Democratic Front, the SDF. Thank you very much for that. We will now focus on Mr. Biya'S really won. He's been declared winner. Now we're looking at what he holds as possible change for Cameroon or a continuity. Let me talk to you, Dr. Julius Babila-Taka. Now, from your opening statement, you talked about continuity not being stagnation, and that's what you first highlighted. Now, can you explain to us, we're looking at 40 years after the CPDM has been in power and has been in control of the system. And when you say continuity, doesn't mean stagnation. Now, could you explain to us a little, and what should we be expecting from this government, different from what we've been seeing?
Thank you very much for your very brilliant questions, and I want to commendate the interventions from Maitre Alex Ndive and our SDF representative Padia Sanga here for his frank talks, and he went deep into his political thinking on how the elections were being run. But at this time, as I said, we have already passed the stage of campaigning. We are now into looking at how can we work together, mirroring and accepting the points raised by Maitre Alex, that this is the time for all Cameroonians to come together and to usher in a new social contract. This social contract was being signed by the head of state on November 6th, and he highlighted some big key points on how we're going to move forward. And in that new social contract, I can sense as a political scientist that I see certain political science models, and one of those key models that came up is the collaborative leadership style. So I will start by saying that the question isn't change versus continuity. It is which continuity and what kind of change. Cameroon needs continuity of stability and institutions paired with targeted, measurable reforms that accelerates jobs, decentralization, and reconciliation. These are the key pillars of the new septenum. It is dwell on leveraging on what the CPDM had achieved in the past 4 decades and tailoring the pathway how we are going to get to Vision 2035. If any of us pick up the policy statement of Vision 2035, you will see that we need this continuity to prosperity. As Comrade Asanga well articulated, change can be to the worst and change can be for prosperity. And the change is a constant. So this is a continuity for change. If we don't continue and we get in a new political leader who will abandon the hard work that the current government had put in place and start a new plan of actions, we will not reach Vision 2035 sooner. So we have our natural resources that are available. What we need now is a robust kind of leadership, a leadership style that is collaborative, not a leadership style that will be we versus them. It should be all of us. It should be all Cameroonians, all Cameroonian brains. We come together, we sit, and we look at how to assist the head of state realize Vision 2035. Somebody insulted me on Facebook and they later said, "Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were working for that corrupt regime, but you don't work for them. Why do you support them?" I said, "I support them because I'm a Cameroonian and I'm also a businessman. I have businesses in Fako. And if there is no peace and stability, my investments will crumble. And I've seen that the head of state has a vision that is leading us towards economic prosperity that ensures stability. So this is not a stagnation. This continuity is a continuity of the various achievements that have been gotten and the plan of action that the head of state put in place. So I'm calling on all Cameroonians that we should come together and to put our differences aside and put all our hands on the deck and to work committedly to salvage our motherland. And I want to also be a little bit controversial that the future of Cameroon is in the hands of the youth and some of us that still have biological time on earth. The head of state is passing to the journey beyond, and we should not spend all our time to critique and condemn and try to get him out. We should see what is in his vision and what can we do to assist him to achieve this vision. because we know there is corruption in Cameroon. Corruption is a very, very destructive element in a certain system. I wrote my thesis on at the master's degree in anti-corruption politics. It is very complicated and complex. To solve corruption, you have various complexities. But I think the head of state had done his utmost best in trying to fight corruption in that country, although he had not achieved a greater mark yet. Why is he not able to achieve it? Because there is the lack of the community participation in the fight for corruption. And the policy proposal that I put to the government of Cameroon was that let us involve the local community in the fight for corruption. That would be the best policy, where we identify big buildings and we report those who own those big buildings for real, because a lot of corrupt ministers and directors in Cameroon government, they embezzle all the money and they build very big buildings in the name of their in-laws, and their in-laws cannot justify the source of that money. So I'm calling on level-headed legal luminaries like Maitre Alex Diver that while waiting for the government, those of us in the intelligentsia can come together and put a policy framework and put it to the government of Cameroon how we can effectively reduce corruption in our country. We have Botswana, that is the least corrupt country in Africa, and they have continuity. It is the Botswana Democratic Party that has been ruling Botswana since after independence. Why? Because they decided and intentionally said we are going to destroy corruption, because corruption undermines economic prosperity, corruption undermines social justice, corruption opens the roomway for internal unrest, for corrupt politicians like Issa Chiruma will steal money and have enough money and will network with some other cronies in the government to pay mercenary to destabilize the country. So there is a relationship between corruption and civil unrest. There is a relationship between corruption and regime change. So it is sacrosanct and it is necessary for the government of Cameroon to fight corruption head on in order to prevent these ills. For it is the illegal money that Issa Chiroma embezzled since he was Minister of Communication, Minister of Employment and Vocational Education, whom he did not create any jobs, did not create companies. All the money was embezzled and stockpiled in order to use to undermine the political institution of Cameroon and to become president and sell our nation to France and their cronies. So, ladies and gentlemen, election has come and gone. This is no longer campaign. This is the time where we have to be honest to the academics that we pursue, and that Cameroon is heavily corrupt, endemic corrupt, systemic corrupt in all ramifications. Cameroonians themselves are corrupt. So corruption is not only ingrained in the government, because corruption has two ways: the giver of the bribe and the taker of the bribe. We have issues in Cameroon in the land tenure. You cannot acquire a land title in Cameroon without paying more than what you bought the land for. Local chiefs are very corrupt. My chief of my local area, corrupt, asked me for bribe for him to sign on the sales document of a land that I bought even from him and his people. We are so corrupt in Cameroon that God himself is angry with us. And again, I want to be spiritual, for I'm also a man of God. That sometimes God gives us some leaders to deal with us because of our own ways. Cameroonians should first of all examine themselves in silence and see whether they are doing the things that they're expecting the government to do for them. We are in the United States. We give money to family members, friends, to construct buildings. They squander. When you come, they kill you. So we have to not only be looking at the government of President Paul Biya, let us look at how we can change our mindset. Let us look at how we can be good citizens. Let us look at whether we pay our taxes without corruption. Let us look at whether we pay custom duties. Customs are the most corrupt Cameroonians. I think that customs department should be scrapped down, and maybe other people go there, and they computerize the custom declaration that starts from the manifest from the home country, so that you pay your custom duty online. And we also need to work together to assist that government to look at comparative studies in custom duties and come out with policy statements. What are the implications of a fairer custom rate? The higher the custom rate, you push people to corruption. But if you bring it at a lower level, ceteris paribus, when the price is low, many people will buy. So if you put the custom duty lower, many people will opt to pay than to go into giving bribes. So there are a lot of things that we can do to usher these 7 years to be a 7 years for us, who will still be leading when the old people who are in government will transition to the journey beyond. So campaign is over. Let us agree today to create a network of Cameroonian think tanks, not Anglophones, because we are all one Cameroonians. I will not accept that we create a caucus of Anglophones. Let us create a caucus of change, meaningful change to sustain our nation moving forward. The country is in our hands. If we ruin it, we ruin our own future, for we don't have any other nation apart from Cameroon. I rest my case for now.
All right, Dr. Julius Babila Taka, thank you very much. We got you so clearly. And one of the issues which you highlighted was President Biya'S government being able to achieve peace and stability. However, Madam Marilyn Dua, we look at the socio-political landscape in Cameroon, it still remains fragile, considering the fact that Mr. Biya'S began his, the Anglophone crisis began under Mr. Biya'S' sixth term, and in 2018, when he began his seventh term, the crisis was still ongoing, and we've lived through that crisis through his seventh term in office without a practical way out of the crisis in the Anglophone regions. The atmosphere, the landscape remains very fragile. Now, we're looking at Mr. Biya'S' eighth term, which he began recently, and during his inaugural speech, we didn't hear him talk much about the possible way out of the crisis. Many still look up to the 2019 major national dialogue, which would, if we're looking at that now, it's several years after. The crisis is still ongoing. Meaningful change or just continuity? Do you see the Anglophone crisis ending in this eighth mandate, or this eighth term rather?
Thank you, Luis. I want to say that the crisis, let's just be honest among ourselves and blunt. As Dr. Taka said, ask not what your country will do for you, but what you will do for your country. He said there's enough blame to go round, and I totally agree. Why has there been war in Congo ever since independence? Why was their leader killed? And why has there been war? Because of the natural resources of Congo. Let's just be blunt and put it out there. Cameroon is equally, you have studies are showing that Cameroon is almost as rich as Congo. So we expect war to come to Cameroon because of our natural resources. And they can never destroy from without. The enemy will always look for people within to work with. We had Boko Haram. Boko Haram was not sufficient to destabilize Cameroon. Then you had the Anglophone crisis, which has no head or tail. If you ask somebody today what is the problem, they cannot tell you. But we know, as students of geopolitics, we know what is happening. We know that our enemies within are looking for partners. Our enemies without are looking for partners within to work with, to destroy our country so they can take our natural resources for free. When Ambazonia did not work, and I want to shout out to some of my panelists, Padia Sanga, Maitre Alex Ndive. We work hard, and they have put, I don't know how many death threat warrants, they have put X on our heads to kill us. So we said the Anglophone crisis will succeed they have to go through us, over our dead body, because we understood what was at stake. So we want to ask Mr. Biya to do what Napoleon left undone. We know what is happening. When the Anglophone crisis did not work, they decided to activate Biya'S. When it did not work, they decided, okay, let's put Ambazonia. That's why you see the people that have the same colonial masters, they work together. So asking me, why do you think this person endorsed these people? Why do you think? I say, oh, because they have the same paymaster. So they will always work together. Because they think that when they put Boko Haram, Ambazonia, Biya'S, they put all of them together, then Cameroon will scatter. It will not work. If you have not yet understood that, you are going to continue to be on the south line and the nation will move forward. That brings me to where Fadid said a very important point, I think the highlight of this program. Anglophones are known for chasing the wind. When the wind blows here, they go here. When the wind blows here, they have no strategy to push the ideals of self-determination forward. I think that every Anglophone, whether you're CPDM, your SDF, your independents like us, I think that we all believe in the ideals of self-determination within the union. We do not never come out as Anglophone, sit and strategize on how to push our agenda of self-determination within the union forward. Paddy has brought a very important point, which some of us have been thinking, and Paddy, I'm going to reach out to you and everybody. So we sit down before the parliamentary and municipal election. We can sit down and strategize. We can get that Anglophone caucus in parliament. Okay. Bending down, and those who claim, like Paddy, you said, you have people who claim to be federalists, but they do everything except act as federalists. You have governance, it's in multiple layers, the presidency. You see, you're a federalist and you focus only on the presidency. I don't see you when it's time for the parliamentary election, you are nowhere to be found. When it's time for the municipal election, you are nowhere to be found. However, federalism is levels of government. If you truly believe in federalism, these people are not federalists, they are power mongers. They want power. Interested in governance of federalism, they want power. I said these people who are power mongers, give them power, because Paul Biya never wanted power and he has become chewing gum. Then imagine the people who want power, what will happen? Paddy, I'm going to work with you because in fact, the next parliamentary and municipal elections are going to be one of the most important in the history of our country, because that we need to hold the CPDM table. Because like you said, Julius, the CPDM has a great program on the books, but so far it's been very poorly. They've been very poorly executed. They have the 2030 plan. They have great things like agriculture. They have technology, they have energy, but they are doing nothing to implement them. If you say that your 2030 plan is agriculture, why is CDC a mess? Why is CDC so poorly run and a mess? Why is PAMO not fully operational? If your 2030 plan is agriculture is at the top of it, what is the resources to make sure that PAMO is of giving jobs? We have unemployment. CDC of unemployment in the entire Southwest region. Why is it so poorly managed? What is happening to Sonara? On your 2030 plan, you have energy, you have technology, digitalization. What is happening? The CPDM, you have a great program that is being poorly executed. That's why I want to come to Mola's point. Metro Alex talked about injection of new blood into the CPDM party. Injection of new blood, recruiting people, because see, to be honest with you, I'm just going to say this as a child of Cameroon, as a daughter of Cameroon. And this is not about Mr. Biya, it's about our country. Mr. Biya has worked hard, he's 92, we respect elders, respectfully go on retirement. And again, keep your legacy. You are a great giant of diplomacy in the country and in the sub-region and in Africa. Please retire and safeguard your legacy and give the position to somebody else. Mr. Biya, you have people who wanted to use a change and they're going for a 76-year-old man. The government official, please go, respectfully go on retirement and advise us from the, so that we can have people who come into place, people who are energetic, because there's a kind of mépris, as I want to say, mépris Cameroonians. You cannot be a president, nobody sees you, you don't motivate anybody.
Condescendants. There is a lot of condescendants in the government.
Yeah, it is very condescending. You are the president. Cameroon is the only country in 2025 where they have a presidential election and there's no debate. There's no debate. The presidential candidates don't come and have a debate. We don't debate the ideas. I heard some politicians in Kumba. That's where I got my first girlfriend. Yes. Not what the youth want to hear. This is not what they use. They want to hear about job creation, about opportunities. You know, but Mola, as you said, Cameroon is operating that way because we are still a colonial nation. We are a colonial state. Since they brought us, we are still operating within the confines of colonialism. Ever within the confines of colonialism, we still have opportunity. We want to salute all the efforts that the government has made in breaking away from some of these independent contracts. We are aware of the work that the government has been doing. We are grateful. However, we see that a lot can still be done, and this is an opportunity that has been provided to move the nation forward. Cameroonians are very simple people. They don't need a lot to be happy. The common Cameroonian on the street cannot be happy. Have an opportunity to to change, bring a little bit of change to push the nation forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ma'am Lindwa. That was very clear, and I don't know if you it's directly calling for Mr. Biya'S retirement at age 92. Metro Alex Ndive. Now, just like all of us, we observe Mr. Biya'S is actually very tired and needs to go, of course, on retirement. But those around him who benefit, like the ministers and those who occupy these positions, they believe probably if Mr. Biya'S leaves today, they will stop benefiting from those positions. Do you think we can have any of that happening? Can Mr. Biya'S retire to go have the rest which he actually deserves at this age?
I'll be very happy for us to be talking about the CPDM political party because Mr. Biya'S is a member of a political party. I don't know why militants of CPDM they want to differentiate between CPDM and Mr. Biya'S. But however, before I answer that question, I would like to be an avocat défenseur de Mr. Chiruma. Mr. Chiruma is not my cup of tea, but on your program, we have what we call journalism impartiality. It is wrong to come and be calling Mr. Chiruma on this program that he embezzled money, he stole money. He's not on this program. And if Mr. Chiruma stole any money who he was working with, they would have arrested him. So I would like Mr. Taka to withdraw that statement on your platform. It's not my duty, but it's unfair. You don't do that on any platform. I cannot come here and be saying Mr. Biya'S is a thief or what on your platform. You don't do that. It is wrong. You don't do that. It's very sad. I don't know, Mr. Luis, you did not see that, but you should have stopped him. They shouldn't do that. I don't care what if he's a thief. There is a government, and I will make it clear. If you have a government, the government have a function. You don't go to government to sit on a bed of a rose. The government have a function. You go there to use taxpayers' money because you have a function, what? To maintain law and order, to provide public service, to manage the economy, to ensure there's national defense or whatsoever. The government have, if there's corruption, Mr. Tucker said, individuals are corrupt. Yes, if they are corrupt, you're a government. You have a criminal justice system. It's the job of the government to do that. But unfortunately, I'll quote Mr. Biya'S. Some years ago, when they said there are corrupt people in Cameroon, Mr. Biya'S said you should bring proof. If Mr. Biya'S should say bring proof, he is the one to fight corruption. He said bring proof. If Mr. Biya'S says that people should bring evidence that people are corrupt, he shouldn't be putting Mendoza, Ondondo, Aba, and Atanganakuna, Titi Sezwa, Desiree Engo, you name the rest. Why are they in prison? Mr. Biya'S is putting them at the same time. So sometimes we should understand what is a government. It's very important because we cannot be saying that, oh, individuals are thieves. I don't blame criminals to me. I don't blame criminals. It is very, very important. We have a criminal justice system in the Cameroons because we know they are going to be criminals. So if people commit crime, prosecute them, try them, and put them in prison. And again, as a government, you should fight crime and the causes of crime. That's why you are in government. We should not forget that. And Mandwa said the Anglophone problem, they don't have any headway. I should tell you, Anglophones are not a political party. There are Anglophones who are CPDM militants. There are Anglophones like myself who believe in equal status. There are Anglophones who are UNDP. So we should stop making that mistake. If you read Article 65 of the Constitution of Cameroon, it says we are all entitled to our opinion. We are free to join whatever political party we want, whatever religion, freedom of assembly. Nobody should fit it. So like myself, I've created my party in UK, here it's called British Cameroon National Party. It is my constitutional right. I know what I believe. I believe two political entities that came to Cameroon to form Federal Republic of Cameroon. They changed it to United Republic of Cameroon. Now it's La République du Cameroon. The name that French Cameroon had on the 1st of January 1960. It is a fact. My problem now, I'm not fighting as an Anglophone. I'm fighting as a political leader who have got a political party. I don't see any reason why we are using institution that the French Cameroon inherited from France. They are imposing it on the English part when they have their own inherited institution. ENAM was created in France in 1945. So they are imposing it, translating it to NASLA. We don't use administrator, we use politician in the English system. So that is my point that I'm fighting under British Cameroon National Party, equal status. France CFA was created in France in 1945. We were using West African shilling. We never had an agreement to be using money that comes from France. That is what I'm fighting for. Scotland and England came together 300 years ago. Scotland have its own money. England have its own money. Scotland have a football team, they have it. They have a separate parliament before, just like the English part of Cameroon and French Cameroon. They form one political entity. They came together 300 years ago. After some time, some people say, no, we want to go away. They create Scottish National Party. Some Scottish people, they want to remain in the United Kingdom. Some Scottish people, they want to leave. So Scottish National Party, they stood for election. They won the decentralization. They are running Scottish Parliament as I speak. But some of them want independence. They gave them a referendum in 2014. 55% said they want to remain in the United Kingdom. 45% said they want to leave. That's democracy. We have, again, what I'm calling, military tribunal. In an Anglophone system, we don't use military tribunal to try civilians. There's somebody like Ngari, I talked to him. He has been on waiting trial for 9 years. That's the French system. That's what I'm fighting for as an Anglophone. They are using Napoleonic code that Napoleon founded. It is 1800, the civil code. So I'm saying gendarmerie, still in France. Gendarmerie, the job is to do what? Law and order. Police is law and order in the French Cameroon. Gendarmerie is something from France they created in 1791. Those are my problem. I know Ambazonia, they don't monopolize Anglophone problem. I'm not an Ambazonia, but I believe we need equal status. Some people can call themselves Ambazonia, some people can call what? We should not be playing with the life or equality. When it comes to equality, I will not tolerate that. We have been annexed. I'll keep on using that word. You can check, it's an English word. I don't want to use that word federalism. My point is, the French part of Cameroon should be using their institution that they inherited from France in the French part of Cameroon. An English side of Cameroon should use the institution that they inherited. Whether you call it decentralization, whether you call it federalism, it doesn't bother me. I just want two political entities. Two countries came together to form a political entity. A country is defined as political authority, territory, and a population. You don't need independence to be a country. And they keep on calling us region. People don't know the meaning of region in Cameroon. Regions are administrative units. You cannot be a region. I cannot be a Northwesterner. I cannot be a Southwesterner. In England, we have 12 regions. England have 9 regions. Scotland have 1 region. Northern Ireland have 1 region. Wales have 1 region. But they are still English in that 9 regions. So we can have more regions in Southwest, but we are not region. It's administrative unit. You cannot call yourself an administrative unit. Sometimes it saddens me that in the Cameroons, we want to do politics, but we don't understand this terminology. The CPDM government have made up to think that we are administrative unit. You're either Bakwere or you're your country, or Banso or you're your country. You cannot be a region. You cannot be central, south. You can't. These are administrative units for political purpose or for electoral purpose. these are things that we need to know. So to come back to your question about, is it Mr. Biya, whether being old or he should go? Mandwa, if you talk to CPDM militants, they will say it's up to them. The chairman of the party is the natural candidate. That's what they say. Whether Mr. Biya is there or Mr. Biya is there, it doesn't really bother me. It's not about old, because Mr. Biya was there when he was I would call it in Cameroon, when you're 20-something year old, they call you a boy. Although in the Western way, you're not a boy. So Mr. Biya was a boy when he had top official position in Cameroon. So it's not about the old age. And I've seen, I don't know whether it's Taka or you, Mandwa, we talk about achievement of Mr. Biya. I'm not being that pessimistic. If you talk about the achievement of Mr. Biya's achievement, Transparency International will tell you that Cameroon have been labeled as one of the most corrupt countries on earth. If that's an achievement, I don't know. If you look, violent crime against women under the CPDM is what? Up. Crime against children, up. Poverty, there. If you look, what we need are the basic necessity of life: water, electricity, road. The reason that Mr. Biya and his top official, they don't use our hospitals in Cameroon, is because they know the hospital is not fit for purpose. They come abroad. There is a young Philemon passed away in Belgium. Most African leaders, they die abroad because their hospital is not the young Philemon, Ayang Luke, sorry, passed away in Belgium. So you see, most African leaders, the people who are supposed to make beautiful, good hospital for ourselves, if they come abroad, they are telling you that that hospital is not good enough. It's dead trap. So those are the things we should look about. The saddest thing is that most of the people running Cameroon, most of them, they lecture me in University of Yaoundé. Most of them, Diongute, all of them, they were my lecturers. So you take people who are teaching, example, law, and you make him prime minister or minister. They don't have that experience as a politician to run a country. We should distinguish between a politician and a civil servant. Civil servants, they should be impartial. Mr. Biya was a civil servant. Aijo was a civil servant. Young Philemon, a civil servant. Musonge, a civil servant. Diongute, a civil servant. When are we going to start having politicians? People from Enama, what? Civil servant. We need an institutional reform. We need to go to the drawing board and start from scratch. And it's not only about Mr. Biya, it's not about an individual. To me, if you should ask me what form of government do we need in Cameroon today or Africa, I would prefer a parliamentary system, because politicians, they talk. Any problem, they come to the parliament, they debate it. Bad roads, they debate it. Hospital, debate it. Anglophone problem, debate it. But you have invisible politicians. And you have politicians who come and stand in front of you, Mr. Louis. They will come and make a press conference. Then they will tell you, Cameroon, Peniki, Glycedis, will molinex you. That's no accountability. People who should be accountable to you are threatening you. It's so sad that, to me, what we need in Cameroon today is a sovereign national conference. We need to start from the scratch. We need a new constitution made by the people, not by some few people. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Maitre Alex Ndive. Having a new constitution probably is going to be a long shot. But then we keep our fingers crossed and we're expecting what this 8th term of Mr. Biya is going to deliver. Now, one of the aspects which, Metro, you've highlighted is the aspect of corruption, and citing the Transparency International report, which places Cameroon as one of the most corrupt countries in the world. Now, let's talk with you, Padia Sanga. The aspect of corruption in Cameroon is facilitated with based on longevity. You know, ministers staying too long in the same position. We have ministers in Cameroon who've probably spent about 2 decades in the same office. Now, these are some of the issues that facilitates corruption. Do you think that Mr. Biya's government at this time can be able to, uproot some of these ministers, and which will probably help fight corruption? Is there a possibility to fight corruption? Because many, accuse Mr. Biya himself not being there to follow up, and this is some of the reasons why Cameroon, remains very corrupt. How do you think corruption can be managed, and can we find that changing in this 8th mandate of Mr. Biya? Padia Sanga.
Listen, when I was listening to my friend, my very good friend, Alex, he contradicted himself in several occasions, because he's talking about a holistic system, a systematic change, and then talking about a constitutional conference, then talking about indirect rule, and he was criticizing politicians that they come and say things that they don't believe. But I don't know, that just proved to me that he has not been reading the political programs of certain political parties who were proposing a semi-parliamentary system where we go through general elections and we scrap this nonsense that we call presidential elections, municipal elections, original elections. So those are two concepts at variance. Now, one of the way, because if you arresting people because they embezzle money would not even solve the problem, because somebody who has embezzled, let's say 5 billion, goes to prison for 20 years and comes out, it means nothing. He still has that money and can pass it on from generation to generation. The frustration will still be there in the community. One of the ways to fight corruption, as we said it in our political program, is to create a national auditory office. A national auditory office that is in every nooks and cranny of Cameroon, where they have the mandate to audit any person who is seen rising buildings, driving fancy car, which are not justifiable, which are not commensurate to what he or she earns. Because you see custom officers whose basic salaries are 200,000, 300,000, but they have buildings that are almost 1 billion. And how do they justify the income that they have? You have business people who are proxies, who have universities, and they're spread all over, but you don't know who are the board of directors of those universities. You don't know how they are run, where they get their finances, and they talk about they are being subvented and all that stuff. Those are private universities, and then when you see the buildings, you doubt. I just saw, when I was scrolling through the social media the other time, I heard that Minister Atanganji, Molinex, as they call him, had a building somewhere at the Bolova. It would be the role of the National Office of Audit to say, this building, to whom does it belong? Padi Asanga. Padi, come and sit down here. Tell us how you got this fortune. It would be to go to Bali, somebody who's working in Limbe, building a high rise. He's just a police superintendent. Tell us how you got this money. That is where the problem is. And that's why people are hanging on Mr. Biya. Because they believe that any person who come out with such an idea to audit them, they would lose everything, and if not something. But it's a very good plan, because the idea is not to imprison people, but the idea is to take away that social contract, that social tension, and that disparity that exists between those who were called to serve and have served themselves instead of serving the people. And when you do that, you establish confidence between the institutional governance and the people who are at the grassroots. So fighting corruption doesn't necessarily mean just arresting people, locking them up, pulling them out, and then they go back and continue their life. No. Instead of arresting them, let's do a national audit. Just as we have DOs, SDOs all over the 360 subdivisions in Cameroon, we should have that National Office of Audits. And then, when you do that, when you are audited, you get a certificate that tells you this and this part of the property could be justified. And what is not justified becomes the state property. That is in our political program. Now, how is that going to happen? That is only going to happen if we have a new social contract. And that's what Meta was trying to say. But because he's copying from other politicians, he just calls himself a politician. But you cannot be a politician without having administrative units. Those administrative units must exist. And you have to understand that the administrative units should not precede the people. The people should preside over the administrative unit. And who are the representatives of the people? They are our local chiefs. So within the French Jacobin system, it is the direct rule. In the Anglo-Saxon system, it is the indirect rule with habeas corpus, with a semi-parliamentary system, where what cannot be resolved at the local level, only what cannot be resolved at the communities are sent to the regions, and what cannot be solved to the regions is sent to the central government that you may call the federal state or whatsoever. So, and what does the federal state do? It arbitrates in certain cases, and then it has three functions: the national army, the currency, and then the foreign policy. Thus, the power of the presidency becomes non-attractive, and you will not have people fighting every day to become president, whereas they are looking where they can go and start from there. So when Alex says certain things, at certain point he becomes pertinent, but he comes again and contradicts himself because he wants to pretend as being the one who is proposing something new, whereas he's merely repeating what he read from other people's political program. Now, he says he's the leader of political party. I did not see him on the ground trying to implement his political party, but he's good at saying that all political parties are not good and so on. He is just one of these people who sit in the diaspora and think that because a goat went in the plane, came out in England, the goat has become a lion, or the goat has... No, the plane is not a transformatory institution. It's just a means of transporting yourself. And we must face the reality. We cannot copy and paste as far as the African continent is concerned and its governance. We can take what is good, what we have learned from the Western world, adapt it to our own realities. This thing, one thing he said, which I also appreciate, was this ENAM. ENAM should be scrapped. And then at the federal, local level, we have 10 universities. Why don't we do a faculty, would create a faculty of local administration in the 10 regions? Because the customary laws at all the 10 regions, call it what you want to call it, they are not the same. They are not the same. And then in those federal universities, we also have a linguistic faculty that takes care of our local languages and our vernaculars to make sure that they don't disappear, because that is our politics, that's our cultural hegemony and our anthropological identity. When you do that, our languages will not disappear, and anybody who wants to govern at the local level will have to learn those languages, because he will be able to address the local people. When I listen to Malam Bakari, okay, Issa Chiruma Bakari talking, when he goes to the north, he speaks in Fulbe. When he comes to Bamenda, he speaks in English. I heard Mr. Biya'S swearing in English. Those are communication languages for the outside world. It has nothing to do with my identity as a Ngemba boy, a Abakwa boy, who speaks Mogamo, who understands Mungaka. You see what I'm saying? So this is where we find ourselves, and we have to start thinking how to rebuild. If these ideas that we have are put in place, then we are moving somewhere. Now, he was attacking the idea of not being Anglophone. We came from Nigeria. He wants a British system and so on and so forth. But he is a Cameroonian and he wants and so on. Very contradictory way of reasoning. I don't know what is wrong with my brother this time around. But this is the point. There are two political entities that came together. We have the Anglophones and we have the Francophones. Now, the Anglophones left the Enugu House of Assembly and converged in Boya as a political bloc. With all the tribes that we have, Bakweris, where we also have Bakweris at Sawa in the littoral. We also have Bamilikes, who are Buddhas at Matazan and so on and so forth. But then we have these political entities. What do we do as a post-colonial political entity? We form an Anglophone caucus if we want to protect that identity. That's what I'm saying. Anglophone caucus has nothing to do with CPDM or SDF, but we also know that the CPDM has what they call party discipline. So we will not count on them so that within this Anglophone caucus, our fight in the institutions would be to address the Anglophone problems and get that identity, that post-colonial identity, because we also have a post-colonial identity on the other side of the Mogul. So if they are Francophones, they are Anglophones. If we are Cameroonians, then we should look for another formula. So we should not come and be lying ourselves here. So, Luis, I don't want to be too long. I know time is not in our favor, but I would like us to have this conversation some other time again. I will let you give the chance to other panelists to talk. Thank you.
Thank you, Padia Sanga. We got you clearly. I think Metro is going to answer to that when it is his turn, of course. Now, let me talk with you, Dr. Taka. Ma Marilyn highlighted the aspects of injecting new blood into the CPGM party. And when we go probably deeper into looking at the 1996 Constitution, which, of course, talks about transition or credible transition, this is equally clouded by age. We look at anybody who is supposed to, or the president of the Senate who is supposed to, take over Mr. Biya in case of eventualities. We realize that he's caught up to with the aspect of age. Now we have all of these persons who are of age, and injecting new persons into the party. Where do you think they are going to fit? We look at all of these persons, from the president, his probably successor. All of them are of age and, probably worn out. Now, how do we, or where do the young people come in, and what role do you think they're going to play in the party? And is it possible in this 8th term of Mr. Biya?
Thank you very much, Mr. Lewis, for this opportunity again. Before I will answer your questions, there were some other remarks that I need to touch on a little bit before I delve into this. I will start with Mr. Alex Ndive. I want to say that his intervention was sweet like palm wine, pleasant to hear, charming in tone, but lacked in policy substance. I was hoping that this debate would rise above emotional appeals and center on the real issue of continuity versus stagnation. While these words flowed smoothly, they offered little in terms of pragmatic and actionable policy directions. I'm saying this to Mr. Ndive. As a legal luminary, I think that he should have some policy acumen also. Because although I studied public policy, I took a lot of courses in constitutional law, criminal law, and private law also to make me a complete public statesman. So I think in that direction, you should understand that policy do matter. So we don't need speeches. That sounds good. We need strategies that works. At this time, I was thinking that with the caliber of people like him that would come on board, we will not be going to litigate issues of who is Anglophone Cameroonian and who is French Cameroonian, for that is very bestial for me and for a person of his caliber. We are Cameroonians, whether we like it or not. And this 2 hours or 90 minutes or 60 minutes is very inadequate for us to litigate the issue of Southern Cameroon versus La République du Cameroon. But to give one brief line, East Cameroon and Southern Cameroon, as they claim, or whatever, English Cameroon and French Cameroon, used to be one Cameroon under the German Confederacy. And I come from Bali. Zingra was living in Bali. And my grandfather, I'm a prince, was able to run the whole of Cameroon, reaching up to Northern Cameroon, because that was the headquarters of the German Confederacy, and also Boya was part of that. It was after a certain war that the part of Cameroon was given as a bounty or a reward to England, part given as a reward to France. We are not going to allow international demarcations to define who we are. We are Cameroonians from Genesis. And if I see learned brothers like Mr. Ndive trying to push this kind of ridiculous point, it is sickening. We don't need to have an indirect or direct rule. We don't need to have whether there are gendarmes or there were no gendarmes. We have to grow above that level and to define a new policy for Cameroon. We will not continue to tie ourselves in colonial policies and colonial rhetorics. I think we should be now in our own age, be looking at what is a new policy, a new political system for all Cameroonians. We should allow our young people to integrate and move forward. There is no need to hold ourselves back into the ages of our grandparents that I am an Anglophone, I am an Francophone, it was this and that. That is ridiculous, Maitre Alex. Let us move above political rhetorics and look into things that are real and concrete and move Cameroon forward like other nations in the world have moved forward. Look at the way China moved themselves forward. If China had relied on who is this and who is that, China will not be where they are. Let us come together as one nation and define a new policy pathway moving forward. As far as the question about the youth involvement in politics, I want to tell you that there are a lot of young people from local government to central government. There are a lot of young people in private businesses. If you look at the staffing of, let me take one directorate like Camtel, there are a lot of young people in very high positions. Look at all, but we still have our African belief system, which it will take a while to fade off. These, our grandparents are still alive, and they continue to believe that what an old man sits down saying, a young man cannot stand up and see. And I asked somebody, I will stop calling names now because people will start become emotional. I asked a very huge politician when I was a young man and I brought in some ideas. He said, young man, sit down. Is this an opposition chairman? He ushered me to sit down and told me that I don't know nothing. I'm not old enough to understand anything. So I want to say that our problem, one of our systemic problems in Cameroon is the generational divide. They all think that they know too much and that the young doesn't know anything. So until God will gradually phase off these people, we now will come up, and I don't expect that we will come with this kind of divisive tendencies of that I am Anglophone, I am Francophone, into the new Cameroon that we are looking forward to build. We should eradicate that idea of I am this, I am that, and look at how we can move forward as one people in a very small country that is the size of California. We want to divide it into various ideologies. It is very ridiculous. Let us look at what will bring us together and look at the differences in language as a plus for us. I know Cameroonians who went to Japan and studied that language, and they are medical doctors in Japan. I know Cameroonians who are teachers in the universities in China. If they are so scared of another language, how could they learn Chinese and be professors in Chinese universities? So let us stop all this deceit and stop deceiving ourselves and our youth just because they had the opportunity to travel abroad and now we live a good life and want to continue to deceive our people back home so that they think that there's a new day coming. New day is not coming. The new day is for us to fix what we have right now. Nobody is coming to help us from abroad. We should be sincere to our people that the kind of life we have here, let us see how we can help our country put things together and move it forward for the interest of those who are at home that will never have the opportunity to go and live luxurious life in England as Mr. Alex is living right now and try to deceive the people about two systems. We have no two systems. Let us build our own system. We are not going to rely on colonial system. That's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Alex. Dr. Julius, we got you clearly, and of course, I think Metro, when it's your turn, of course, you're going to answer to all of that. Now, let me talk with you, Ma Marilyn Dua. Mr. Biya, during his inaugural speech, emphasized on infrastructure development in energy, water, roads, and public services as part of economic growth and improved living standards. Now, he emphasizing on this, we have Cameroon having a 14 billion as debt. We have inflation and rising living costs squeezing Cameroon households. I know you're not in Cameroon, but I think you see the reports of the road situation in Cameroon and the challenges that Cameroonians they go through with poor road networks, water, energy, and all of that. With this debt and Cameroon keeps borrowing, with all of this in place, do you think that there's a possibility for us to have achieve this infrastructural development which Mr. Biya is talking about, particularly the road situation in Cameroon, which has not changed within the last 7 years?
Luis, I don't currently live in Cameroon, but I come to Cameroon often enough. I was just the last time I came to Cameroon a few months ago. I went to Limbe and Boya, and it was ridiculous from Douala to Limbe. It was ridiculous. I was furious. I was mad because if I think of the fact that Limbe has CDC, which is one of the greatest employers in Cameroon, and all the revenue that CDC brings, and the road was terrible. Just how many, a very short distance from Douala to, if it were in the United States, people could live in Limbe and work in Douala, but the roads were terrible. And yeah, and one of the reasons, Luis, you talk about is absolute power corrupts absolutely. You talked about somebody being in power for 20 years. Some of the ministers and some of the top government officials have been in power for 20 years. There's no accountability. Do these people, do they assess them annually to see their performance? And if they are not doing well, why do they still keep their jobs for 20 years? The state of the roads in Cameroon is unacceptable. Mondemba, Ekondo, Titi, the places I know about that I go when I come, the state of the roads are unacceptable. My very good friend, Dr. Julius Taka, talked about something which highlights what the problem is. You asked him if young people could be integrated into the CPDM, and he talked about young people being in Camtel. Mr. Julius Taka, I'm very sorry to inform you that Camtel does not belong to the CPDM. Camtel is a Cameroonian corporation that should be open to all Cameroonians from all walks of life, from all political parties. You cannot use the young people in Camtel as an example of that the CPDM has young people. Camtel should be hiring the best Cameroonians of PNC, regardless of their political parties. And this is why we have inefficiency and people are not doing their jobs and stuff is not, the country is not moving forward. Again, I want to call on good people in the CPDM, good statesmen in the CPDM, within the ranks of the CPDM, who can decide that they want to work for their country. And they should be, this is why, Paddy, what you said was very important. I want to come back to the point that Mula made. Mula, I agree with you in some of the fact that regions are political entities, because we see in Kribi, for example, Kribi used to be littoral, and somebody with a pen has changed Kribi to the central region. So that doesn't change the fact that Kribi people are Batanga people and Asawa people, although they are now in the central region, and we know why. You know, come on, say, read my lips. I don't know if it has anything to do with the ports in Kribi and some of those, the monies that will be coming in. But Kribi is now part of the central region. It used to be littoral in my lifetime. So you are right, Mola, in that these are political entities. It doesn't change anything. However, Paddy, you have a very important point in that we need to form political alliances. Let's look far. You have the United States, for example, who is way advanced in democracy. The current democracy we are practicing, the United States is more advanced than us. In the United States Congress, they have caucuses. You have some of the famous caucuses. You have the Black Caucus. The Black Caucus is bipartisan, it's multi-partisan. It has nothing to do with a political party. These are people who are similar, who have similar beliefs, who have a similar agenda, who want to push it forward within the Congress. So they come together and form a caucus. You have a caucus based on language, to Mr. Taka's point. To Mr. Taka's point, we cannot claim to, you have the Hispanic caucus, which is based on the Spanish language. Because they're looking for colonization, but because they are people of a distinct heritage. The Spanish language, they are Hispanics. They have a culture, they have a language. They come to the United States Congress and form a caucus to push their agenda forward. This is what Pabi is talking about an Anglophone caucus within Cameroon's parliament to push the agenda of determination within the union. We are talking about an Anglophone agenda of self-determination because Anglophones, we are unhappy with the current stuff. Cameroon has remained in the there's no progress. We don't have roads. We don't have water. We need to push. And meanwhile, Anglophone Cameroon is one of the richest regions of Cameroon. So we want a caucus. And this caucus is going to be bipartisan. It's going to be multi-partisan. It's going to involve Anglophones of walks of life from here. Most of the advocacy that I do, I work a lot with. You have Lucy, who was the former SDF president of North America. I work with Madame Patience Stanford, who is the current CPDM president. But we have the same agenda. We work on women's issues. We work on Anglophone issues. We work on children's issues. We work on peace because we have a common agenda. We have different and independent. We have different backgrounds, but we have a common agenda and we work together. And this is what the Anglophone caucus is going to do in Cameroon's parliament. And we are going to work on that to make sure that come the next election, we recruit people, finance them, train them to run for office, have that Anglophone caucus government. Thank you. Again, I want to stress the fact, not only for Camtel, Mr. Julius, please tell your CPDM people, Cameroon's corporations do not belong to the CPDM, so they belong to Cameroonians. We need that the best and the brightest should be hired into these corporations for them to work. They don't belong to the CPDM. Thank you.
If I may say something right here, we were talking about that youth are not involved in government. So I did not know that you were talking about CPDM party because I don't think you are a CPDM militant to tell us what is going on. If I knew that it was for CPDM, I would tell you that I'm a young man, I'm in CPDM. We have the youth wing of the CPDM. We have we have the CPDM has a central committee that has the YCPDM. The executive there are all young people. We have the WCPDM, the executive there where Madame Tanfu is at the national level are women. So I thought you were talking about the government. And government includes both state parastatals, CDC, ministries of economy, Ministry of Agriculture. There are a lot of young people working there. So I don't want you guys to turn this debate as if it was a contest to destabilize or to insult. The young people of Cameroon, where do they work at? The young people in Cameroon government, where do they work at? We have young journalists. It's a lot of them. When you highlight the old people in the political arena, like the Speaker of Senate, we can talk about that specifically. We want to talk about the Speaker of the House Assembly or the head of state. I told you already that Cameroonians, being Africans, they don't believe in the integrity of the youth, that they know anything. But when you are talking about involvement and inclusivity, Cameroonian youths are very involved. I am a young man. I am involved. I was involved in CPDM when I was 15 years old. And now we still have a young parliament. We have Cameroon Youth Parliament. We have Cameroon Youth Senate, where they are grooming the young people for tomorrow. So don't keep telling me that Camtel doesn't belong to CPDM. CPDM has a government. If CPDM fails, CPDM has failed. If CPDM succeeds, all the fabric of government belongs to the CPDM government, which I tell you has always been a collaborative government. This CPDM government has always had people from other parties in there. There is an SDF appointed senator within that were appointed by the head of state in order to bring plurality. So if we want to talk about continuity versus stagnation, we should stop going into these nitty-gritties, which I was not prepared for this kind of a debate. So let us stay to where we were and what we came to talk here. If you guys have other agendas, look for another time. Let us come to debate issues of nationhood, whether it should be a federation, whether it should be a southwest, northwest, whether it should be Anglophone, or we should divide the country. For here, we don't want an elections. And the people spoke clearly. And we have a Republican, legitimate and legal head of state that already took oath of office. I think I align more with Mr. Paddy, who is sounding like a real pragmatic politician, who is looking at a way forward. having the system we have now, how can we make it better? That is what politicians do until we die. The caucus, I can now start to believe in the caucus that you talked about, because Miss Marilyn highlighted on it.
That's not fair.
So I think that it is a good thing.
You shouldn't be doing what you're doing.
Can be formed. Let me learn.
You shouldn't be doing what you're doing. I should be the one talking. You're a typical.
My last statement.
You shouldn't be doing what you're doing. I'm not happy. You should wait for
my last statement is that
you are a CPDM. That's how CPDM they be. It's my turn. You shouldn't be talking. You should wait for your turn. You don't do that.
I had to respond to what I was attacked on that.
You don't do that. That's how CPDM.
CPDM is the government.
For your turn.
And Kamtel belongs to the government, sir.
I'm not happy with you.
Can I land before you talk? Can I land?
I am not happy with you. You're a disappointment. It's my turn. Wait for your turn.
No, I had to interject when something was made. I have interjected. Okay, you can go ahead and say what you want to say.
You shouldn't be doing that.
Now,
run by the government.
No, you shouldn't do what you're doing. It's my turn to speak. Wait for your turn.
Dr. Taka, Dr. Taka, I'll definitely have to take the mic from you. Just like Metro said, it's the turn for Metro to intervene. I was expecting your intervention to be very short, but it was very long. I definitely have to give the mic to Metro Alex Ndive. Now, Metro, I'll just have to give you the opportunity to probably respond to. I know you receive shots from left and right. I'll just give you the opportunity to respond to all of that before I probably come back to my question. You have the mic, Metro.
My point is, Paddy and Mr. Taka, they are setting a question. They are saying what I did not say. I'm sure the audience, they are watching this program. I will start with Paddy. Paddy talk about corruption, how they should fight corruption, to form a national audit body, and all those things. Those things are not necessary. They are not necessary. Why? Because in a criminal justice system, you have what they call Proceeds of Crime Act. If they arrest you for corruption, there's something they call Proceeds of Crime Act, which means they have to make sure they investigate and seize those things. So we don't need a quango. Those things are not important. Then people build houses, as Paddy said, or whatsoever. There's something they call again in law unexplained world, which is still in the criminal justice system. When they see this unexplained world, they call you it's the police who should do it. We don't need a quango or what audit body. They investigate you, they talk. If you cannot explain how you got it, so they can seize the property. So it's the job of a police. We don't need another quango. Mr. Paddy Asanga I say I'm a politician, I copy. Paddy, I wrote this book. That's it. 30 years ago. What I'm saying is inside this book. 30 years ago. I was still in Cameroon. So don't come and say I copy and paste. I wrote 2 books. This is the second one. I was 18 years old, the first book. I wrote it there. The crisis against the university crisis when I was there in Parliament. I wrote it in Cameroon. All my things that I wrote, I'm saying they are inside my book. So don't come and be making defamatory statement on public TV. You don't do that. Don't make defamatory statement. If you want to say something, make sure they are accurate. Because I don't
my point.
Let me finish. I did not intervene when you were talking. I wait. You say, right. I call myself politician. Paddy, I am a practicing lawyer, not in Cameroon, in the United Kingdom. I have been in the Labour Party as a politician for more than 20 years. I've stood for election. Now I'm telling you, don't say I'm not a politician. I practice politics in the UK for more than 20. I've stood for election, councillor, district, regional assembly. So don't tell me I'm not talking your Cameroon thing. I'm a lawyer, not in Cameroon. Don't laugh. It's not funny. When you make statement on public TV, I don't do jackery. I don't do those type of things. So when I come here, your statement is defamatory, and I hope if you have the decency, you should withdraw it. That's what you do in politics. You don't make statements that are not right. Then when you come, we're talking about, I say, Anglophone. I will say this again, I repeat. I will talk and for PG. I say Francophone, they get institution. I don't say Anglophone, Francophone. I will join you and Mr. Taka wait to talk. I will talk to. He said, will be one, more not bring colonial waiting. That country they call and say Cameroon. Now colonial people, they form the country. If we now one more not talk Anglophone, we now dissolve the country, more go back for Bali, Basa, this. So don't pretend. I will tell you now clearly. I said in Cameroon, that country, Francophone, they use their institution there.
Med, please continue in English, Med.
Yeah, no, I'm saying maybe they did not know. When I speak English, Padi and Dr. Tanka, they don't understand. Because they are misquoting.
Med, you're speaking to an international audience, please, Med.
Yes, I'm still saying that. I said
that
you are not a Cameroonian.
Can I finish? Can I finish?
Dr. Taka, please.
You are not a citizen of Cameroon.
Can I finish?
Like you, who are
Dr.
citizens
Taka,
of other
please.
countries, come to Cameroon and destabilize Cameroon. You are not a citizen.
Dr. Taka, can
You are not a
you...
citizen. No, he's not a citizen. He said that he ran for number one in England. You go and bring
finish.
You
can I finish
on the platform like this?
Show people their money. Can I finish?
I am a Cameroonian.
Dr. Taka, please.
Can I finish?
Dr. Taka.
I don't have to waste with terrorists. He's a terrorist.
Dr. Taka, please, you have to withdraw that statement on this platform.
I'm not going to withdraw it. He's not a Cameroonian.
When
Cameroon are talking,
Dr. Julius,
who ran for election under the
Mute them. We need to continue the debate, please. Mute.
Yeah, Dr. Taka, just to emphasize, you have to withdraw that statement of referring to Metro Alex Nzive as a terrorist. Please, you have to withdraw that statement.
The statement, but he's not Cameroonian.
Kindly withdraw that statement, please.
He's a foreign influencer.
You cannot call someone a terrorist on my program.
He's not a terrorist, but he's a
Dr.
foreign
Julius. Well, Dr. Julius, probably until you're ready to probably table an apology or withdraw that statement, I'll probably not give you the mic again on the program. We just have to continue with the rest of the panel. And just to remind you, if you're watching us, you're on Afrique Media. The number on your screen is open for you to call us and share with us what you think Mr. Biya'S 8 is going to offer to Cameroonians. Met, I think you probably have to continue, please.
Yeah, what I was saying, I don't mind whether it calls me terrorist. I come to Cameroon, I see my CPDM people, and I'm closer to Mr. Biya a lot more than you if you don't know that. So let me tell you, they know me. They don't call me, the CPDM militants, they don't call me terrorist. They know that I make my point clear. I'm talking about institutional issue. And I'm saying that that country was created by foreigners. It was not created by us indigenous people. And we have different institutions. We see that in Canada, Quebec. We see that in Catalonia. We see that in Scotland. That's what I'm saying. I'm saying we cannot allow the majority to be using their institution and dominate us. Even if, assuming that I'm a Nigerian, I will still be saying what I'm saying. I'm speaking like an analyst, a political analyst. I don't need to be a Cameroonian to say what I'm saying. I'm saying two different cultural heritage came together. That's my point. And the ENAM, the ENS, the Gendarmerie, the Military Tribunal, the ERIC, they are all from France institution. I'm saying the other part to the colonial part to that came the English part. They have similar institution too. They have police, they have gendarme. We have similar institution like Nigeria. I'm not talking about Anglophone, Francophones, or what. That's my point. I don't want to, let me put myself that I'm a foreigner. I will still say the same thing. I don't need to come from that country to be saying what I'm saying. Even a political analyst, last time, is it David Mazanga? He talks about Cameroon. He's not a Cameroonian. So those things are very important. Because to me, if we want to say, let's not talk about this, we come from different tribes in Cameroon. Mr. Taka? He made a statement that he doesn't even know. Maybe it's related to me. My mom was from Bali. Nyonga, Guanola. Then my grandmother was Galiga. I'm a priest from Bali, Nyonga. He doesn't know that. So he's coming to tell me when I was in Boya, the phone of Bali came to our house. So he's telling me to do things with people that I know. He doesn't even know those things. So my point is, I don't need to, I'm not talking about Anglophone, Francophone. Maybe one day we'll have a system that will be similar, maybe as time progresses. But as things stand, I'm saying they shouldn't be translating ENAM. We need politicians, not Jews or governors or whatsoever. People should not make mistake. Ambazonia, they don't monopolize Southern Cameroon. I'm not an Ambazonia, but I believe that we need equal status. We came together with different parliament and different issues. So at the end of the day, it's very important. I don't come here to speak passion or emotional. I have this debate with a lot of CPDM people. Not last week, I had it with Professor Ngole. Ngole is somebody I've known for more than 35 years. I talk with them. We debate to understand each other. I'm not here to challenge any person. It's my opinion, and debates are healthy. That's why, Luis, when you call me on your program, I come here. It's not about emotional. I don't know how many people on this panel who are closer to CPDM than myself, but I don't believe in their policies. We have been having elections since 1992. We have never had political debate, as Mandua says. We should sit and debate. We are not used to. Sometimes people want to use the CPDM, as Mr. Tucker said on this platform. If I'm wrong, he will correct me. That he's doing a businessman, he's doing this. So he's joining CPDM because of business, not because he believes in any ideology. So that's different. So at the end of the day, when we come to this platform, we make our point clearly. I don't do emotional thing. It's not important. Assuming, I will conclude on this, assuming that I'm a Nigerian, I'm a Gambian, I'm from France, I will still say the same thing, that look, two political entities came together with different institutions. Those institutions should be used separately. French institution in the French part of Cameroon, English part. If Mr. Tucker says that, okay, we don't want colonialists, it means we should dissolve the country because it was created by colonialists. That's what he's saying. If that's what he wants, no problem. Then we'll go back to our nation. Whether it's Bakwe, Douala, Bali, then we live as nations. Or else, we are where we are, so we have to follow this. And we have to adhere. There's nothing wrong to say I'm a Bakwe, Bali, Douala, or what. There's nothing wrong with that. We cannot just say we are Cameroonians. Cameroonian is made up of different ethnicity. We have to identify that. There is no one size fits all. Thank you.
Thank you, Maitre Alex Ndive. We go to clearly. Now, let's talk with you, Padia Sanga. I'll go back to what Marilyn Dua highlighted for Minikakus. When you think about this aspect and you look at the just ended presidential elections where we had challenges of, coming together as a people, forming a coalition in order to decide for a greater interest of the country. Do you think a caucus in the Anglophone context is going to produce a meaningful result, and do you think it's possible to bring, these heads together to decide on the interests of the people?
Yes, Luis, that was a nice one. But I would first of all start by denouncing political imposturing, because I don't like people who come here and say they are British, they speak the British language, and we don't understand. Listen, Alex, I am a Cameroonian. That's my electoral card. I voted, defended my vote, and I have all the latitude to talk on this platform. That is it. You can see it. That is Elecam. This is my Cameroonian passport and all the stamps in it. Before you come and you disrespect people in that manner that you want to, I will tell you to better shut up. It's Paddy who's speaking. Learn to respect people who practice what they say and say what they practice. Don't come and tell me you ran for municipal elections in England and now you want to be interested in Cameroonian politics. How does it go? Where is your interest? Britain or Cameroonian? Your legal mind and all that crap. That condescending attitude from some of you in the diaspora must stop. Learn to practice what you preach and preach what you practice, and stop being a hypocrite when people are on a serious debate. Those are the two elements. That is my consular card. That's my consular card. That's my national identity card. That's my driver's license. I don't have any other document that legitimizes me. So when some of us are talking, you must have that humility to sit down and listen. And don't tell me that maybe you are speaking English, Paddy, and the others don't understand. To hell with your English. You understand? So, Luis, to answer your question, I am not a prophet of doom. And there is a premise from where I'm speaking today. We Anglophones, we have developed a culture of neglecting, denigrating, and shooting ourselves in the leg. Who brought the Anglophone crisis in the limelight? Where was this person? A certain Weber from the SDF in Parliament. On the other hand, we had Mbela Moki or who was it, Mukete, who did something in that light. We have had people from both eyes who actually sincerely stood up in the parliament and said, what should I go and tell my people who are dying? Those things exist, but we will not come here and pretend as if they don't exist because we want to aggrandize ourselves. I formed the British political party, I wrote this, I wrote that. We want practical things. You are a British citizen, you have no way to get into parliament in Cameroon to change things. That's why you have that frustration and saying that they should bring in experts and so on. You're expert in what? Expert in what? What have you done and people have seen? I did not see you go to Fako and went there behind the mountain to move those guys who were calling themselves mountain lions. Those are things, some of the things that sincere politicians or activists do. You don't belong to that category, Alex. So that condescending attitude of yours should stop, and once and forever. Don't come here with that. And I will not call you names, but I just want to let you understand how pragmatism against aggrandizement and knowing it all, because we are sitting in our this thing. Luis, I gave you a practical example how it works. If these people, before getting into parliament, they agree that we, as that Anglophone entity that has distinguished herself, every Monday you have ghost towns. Why are these ghost towns being respected? Maybe because the people willfully do it, or maybe because they're afraid of the unknown. That is an entity. That is a collective political consciousness sending a message peacefully. Who are the people representing them? That entity in the glass house. Who are they? They are opposition, and they are part of the ruling party. So if we come from that political geographical space, why don't we follow the steps that Dr. Monzo started, and saying that let's consult with the chiefs, our representatives, civil society leaders, imams, and religious leaders, the churches, and so on and so forth. And then we say, we want to bring an end to this bloodshed, and we should let our children in the bushes know that this is our way forward. And we are making sure that we, the transitional generation or the younger generation, get themselves actually involved in politics. And at 21 years old, somebody who just left the university can become a municipal councillor. It's a plus, because that young man will help to shape policy, but not just sit in London and start saying, I wrote this book 35. What you wrote 35 years ago is no more valid today. It has nothing to do with the children who are reading now. We are just talking because we have some level of experience, and we have gravitated towards from transcended many of these situations, and we can say it firsthand, but not sit from a high horse position. I talk with Professor Bodamoki, I talk with this, I'm a prince and all that stuff. Nobody cares about who you are. People want pragmatic solutions. So that is where I am coming from. And I have demonstrated to you, Alex, and everybody on this panel, how it works. I went home in Bamenda, Abakwa. You people saw me there. I stood in front of the market and told the people who wanted to listen. I had 5 votes in Germany. I was monitoring the votes, counting them. I did not lose, I did not win, but I'm proud of what I did. That is what you call pragmatism. You don't come and talk to people like us like that. You have no notion of politics. You are an armchair activist. Let me say it to you today. So with that, you would understand that we have to go towards these people who are still our representatives, not by insulting them, threatening them, but talking to them and say, can we look for a means to curb this bloodshed? And this is what we are putting on the table. I personally, I think that we should also look for a way, and at any opportunity, so that that sentiment of belonging and get an Anglophone president. I champion that cause. So when you come and you meet people like us, Alex, I know you are a wet chicken. Without me, you would not have gone to Cameroon. That you see, you go to Cameroon and come. You are afraid. Tell the people what you are afraid of. You asked us to meet in Belgium. And we met there, we went there, did what we had to do. And today, you are saying all this nonsense. Please, be very careful when you come and you want to address people like us. I am not a wet chicken, and I will not accept foreigners like you to come and down talk Cameroonians telling us about running elections in England. How does your participation in England elections affect the life of the common man in Cameroon? How does that help people? How? So this is what we are saying, and I will never let you say that thing anywhere where I'm seated, because I'll humble you down with facts, because nobody knows your involvement from 2016 than I do. So I want to make that one clear. The Anglophone caucus, the Anglophone General Conference is the way forward. Let Anglophone have an intra-Anglophone dialogue to be able to evacuate the question of Anglophone killing Anglophones. Nobody will come and judge them for us. What the other people are doing, it is because they violated rules of the country of where they are hosted. But what do we do about our own children who are still carrying guns or who have seized people's property? How do we solve that problem? We have to find some mechanism amongst ourselves to make sure that that question is evacuated. Because this thing is getting community by community. Presidential elections, the electoral college and the electorate is very different from local elections. So that's why we focus on sensitizing our youth, giving them that opportunity to make sure that they become parliamentarians, they become municipal councillors, they become mayors, and what Cabral Libi, what is one of his most important position that he has held in this country after he left university? Led a political party, became a parliamentarian, wrote this thing, and they're trying to influence policy from within. Had some municipal councillors, and we have seen the machines that they managed to raise funds for that municipality. So people who just sit and think that because they are in Europe they know them all, please disrespect them and reject that arrogant, condescending way of coming. They are the source of that problem that Anglophones are having today. When they came into the Anglophone crisis, what happened? Corruption, steal money from people, burn flags, send bad examples to our youth, and they want to come and sit here and give us lessons. I think I have to stop here to give other panelists a chance to speak. Thank you.
Thank you, Biya'S. Dr. Julius, you're back, and first of all, I have to give you the opportunity to probably withdraw a statement which you made. We respect every opinion, and we don't deal with allegations. I know you earlier made a statement on Issa Shuruma, but then let's focus on a statement which you made here calling someone a terrorist. I think you have to withdraw that before we continue, Dr. Julius.
Okay, thank you for this opportunity. This is a heated debate, and tempers do flare. I was not really saying that he was a terrorist. I said it looks like he's a terrorist, but I withdraw everything in its entirety so that we can have a level forward move, so that we can seek means of articulating policies and how we can make things better. I want him also to be corrected. Although he said we don't understand English, I think he also did not understand my very poor English. Maybe I can speak in Mukwe because I can speak it. I can call him later to explain to him in Mukwe what I meant. I said that there is a correlation between political violence and business prosperity. So I said, because I'm a business person, I want an environment of peace so that my business will triumph. Because if my business is where there is constant ghost town, lockdown, and insurgency, where they come and burn my shop and destroy my hard-earned capital, it would not be favorable for me and other foreign investors. As there is a relationship between stability, peace, and economic development. That is what I'm stressing. So I am an advocate for continuity of the head of state so that he can finish the house that he was building. He is almost at the end of completion of this mansion. Let us just relax a little bit so that he can complete it and hand it over. The head of state did not come to power by elections, and the head of state will not also exit political stage by elections. The head of state will hand over power into somebody that shares in his ideology, so that we continue in the same trajectory of continuous prosperity despite our difficulties and our challenges. So I pray that citizens of other countries should not continue to meddle into the political affairs of a sovereign country. And by all indications and from the articulations of Mr. Alex, he is a citizen of United Kingdom and vested in their politics until he attempted to become a member of their parliament. This is one of our colonial masters who has secret classified policies to undermine the resources of our country. And if we see somebody who is part of such a corrupt system, such a system from abroad, that are our former colonial masters who continue to milk and reap our resources, coming in here to sow seed of discord in a clean debate where we were looking forward for a way forward, it is very clear that he is now working for his new country to undermine the integrity of a sovereign Cameroon. Thank you very much, Mr. Luis. I withdraw all the allegations that are made on Mr. Alex.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Julius. That was civil, and we very much appreciate that. We just want to remind those of you watching us, the number on your screen. You can call us and share with us your opinion. We're looking at Mr. Biya'S' 8th term in office, and tell us if there will be a meaningful change, if there's a possibility for a meaningful change, or we're going to see just a continuity. For Dr. Julius, he believes that continuity definitely of peace and stability, and Mr. Biya'S is near completion of his, political agenda. And Madam Marilyn Dua, let's go back to what Doctor says, emphasizing on Biya'S' continuity. I look at the level at which Cameroon is and the challenges which Cameroonians are facing, and many believe that Cameroon is moving towards a very tight corner, or a very tight situation. To Dr. Julius, he believes that it's moving towards probably a better end. How do you look at this, madam?
Yeah, Luis, I'm an optimist. I am an optimist, and I truly believe that Cameroon needs very little to take off. Cameroon is our natural resources, our greatest natural resources are our people, Cameroonians, Luis. I know you've traveled quite a bit all over the world. Whenever you meet Cameroonians everywhere, they're very dynamic. And that brings me to the point of that was just made on the panel. First, I want to ask my brother, say, I beg una calm down, or una calm down, because again, the so-called Anglophone legacy is the force of argument, not the argument of force. So I want to beg on you guys to be decent. We have a certain decorum as Anglophones were known for. So let's please try to keep that decorum when we have these discussions. However, I do want to bring something that is coming up, Luis, something that is very important, that I want to nip it in the bud right now. Every time it rears its ugly head, I want to nip it in the bud. Cameroonians who are in the diaspora, who for one reason or another have decided to take citizenship of another country, that does not make them less Cameroonians. They were born in Cameroon. They are Cameroonians not because they were born in Cameroon, but because Cameroon runs in their blood. I have my son who was born in the US, who has, if you go to his social media, he has a flag of Cameroon flying high. Because Cameroon is born in him, not because he was born in Cameroon. So people travel and take this, and I want you guys to know that a lot of people in the government, I speak on authority, a lot of people in the government have foreign nationality. And a dual citizenship is just a law that will be passed, and people can regain their citizenship. I also want you to know that I was in Ghana when people came from the diaspora to run for elections in Ghana. Every Cameroonian who has taken a foreign citizenship can go back to Cameroon and renounce that foreign citizenship and reclaim their Cameroonian citizenship. I'm only saying this because Africans, especially Cameroonians, we are good at finding the little place where we can have disorder, disunity. From the time that the colonial master came and made us to start fighting ourselves in the plantation, we are good at it. Anytime there's a place, something where we can fight each other, now you have Cameroonians want to fight the diasporans. We are looking for things. It's an argument that we should put in the garbage. We all love Cameroon. We want Cameroon to move forward. Nobody loves Cameroon more than the other. Everybody's important. Alex Ndive has been playing an important role. His books are important for posterity. Padi is a giant on the field, fighting the battle. Aluta continua. Everybody, Luis is playing his role. We are all important. So we need to stop those kind of arguments, and we need to, the force of argument, we need to address the issues, not those kind of arguments. Now, I want to talk about the chance to get it right about the upcoming elections. I go with Paddy again. You have those who were claiming that they won the elections and they stole the elections from them. The elections were rigged. So I want to believe that they still have their networks in place. The networks that enable them to win the presidential election, those networks should be in place. So the upcoming municipal and parliamentary elections will be a validation of their claims. So in the municipal election and in the parliamentary election, it should be less easy to rig the election because it's a smaller scale. And learning the lessons that they have learned from the presidential election, they can make sure that they preserve their vote. And if they want to contact us as consultants to help them we need the certified result, how to teach them how to use the certified result and be able to know whether they've won or not, we can help them with that. But yeah, this is an opportunity that they're having a chance to do over. And Paddy, I'm with you. We are going to work together. I'm going to reach out to you. We are going to recruit people so that they can come on, so we can have that Anglophone caucus. And not just an Anglophone caucus. They should be able to have a Sawa caucus. They should have a Sawa caucus. They should have a Northern caucus. They should have whatever, which is multiple. That is what politics is. It's all politics begins at home. Politics is personal interest. How do I push my agenda forward? Here in the United States, the midterms elections are coming, and the governor is trying to rig the election in their favor. They are doing redistricting. No, California is redistricting everybody so that the market. This is politics. But it's time for Anglophone to be crybabies, to kill each other, but to come together to push the agenda, because that is what politics is. And I want to support what Mr. Alex Dive said. Cameroon is a colonial construct. This is not emotions. This is not what we think. These are Cameroon, the way it is, a current Cameroon, is a colonial construct. And Mola said, to push away the Anglophone colonial institutions. They are using the Napoleon colonial institutions. So we have used those colonial institutions for over 50 years. And we are not happy with the way it is. So we are asking for either they create new ways. This is where I joined my brother Julius Taka. We push the country forward. We decolonize Cameroon, or we are saying that as a group from the northwest and southwest, we want to use our own colonial institution. Since people want to remain inside colonialism, we need to choose, because when they came to the British Cameroon, we have our institutions, which we don't think that the Napoleonic institutions were better. Again, as a Pan-African, I reject, as a Pan-African, I reject Napoleon and I reject the British institution. I want Cameroon, because before these people came, because we had our institutions, but these colonies destroyed. So, again, like I said in my opening statement, Cameroon is a colonial construct, and we have little wiggle room. But that colonial construct, there are certain things that we can do. This is what we are asking for. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ma'am Marilyn Dua. Metro Alex Ndive, are you?
Yeah.
Yes, okay. So you have the microphone. I don't know if I have to ask much questions, but then Like I said, I know you have to. I know you first of all have to react. So
No, I'm saying one thing that's important, Paddy, when you come here, speak the truth. Ever since we left CPC Bali, I never knew your whereabouts. I don't know you. You said we met. I was afraid we met at Belgium. I've never spoken to you in my life. I did not know your whereabouts. When you come, you show your passport and your thing. Those are your personal possession. I can go there too and take my own Cameroon passport and put it there. Those are your personal thing. But what I'm doing here, national conference, fighting for, is not my personal thing. It's to fight for the people of Cameroon. National conference, Boya University, multipartism, GCE board. Those are not my personal thing. You are showing me your personal passport. It's your personal possession. What has that got to do with the people? I was there when I was there in Tarikum. With Frundi, we were doing things. You were not there. When I was marching in Liberty Square, you were never there in SDF. You joined SDF at old age. You can ask Nico Kubri and Mbom Munjo is of late. You have never been an SDF. You came at old age. I was not an SDF. I was just an activist at Liberty Square. I was in Mancom Bamenda Stadium. When Ben Muna, the true things with him. I climbed station. Listen, it's my turn. Why do you always want to talk when I talk? You people are so...
I'm not talking.
When I want to talk, just leave me. Don't distract me. You are saying, I've never had a discussion whether I'm British citizen or not. You are the one saying that. We never had that.
You said it. You said it. Stop lying here.
Why do you always intervene? You people are so impatient. Listen, I will invite you to, you went to Boya, I know you went there. You see how we behave. We are so patient, we receive people. You saw what happened. Cardinal Tumi and Fundi, they were abducted, you see. When this
by people that you radicalized and sent to the bush.
I speak, you people
who follow their example. You want me to talk?
No, can you let me finish? You see, when people are talking, I'm silent.
And please don't make this personal. People are making this thing.
No, I'm not making it personal. I'm answering him. You know, Mandwa, he said that. I said I'm British on this thing. I have to clarify those points.
How do you go for British elections when you are not British?
Listen.
Stop fooling yourself.
England has dual citizenship. England has
the point is, you people are not impatient. You see,
a legal mind knows the law.
I want to bring civilized debate.
Padia Sanga, please leave the mic to Med, please.
When I want to talk, you people are d. That's how you debate. I don't do that. I don't do those type of debate. I'm a civilized man, and it's very important that we remain civilized. Debate is okay. You make your point. You don't need to like my point, Paddy, but I'm telling you, I've shown you that I am an action man. I've shown you things. We were fighting for national conference. You come and show me your personal document, your passport, and your those are your things. It belongs to you. Fighting for national conference and Boya University, it's not for me, it's for the people. So I'm an action man. And I made it clear. I'm saying these things because you're saying it on this platform. I've never told you I'm a British citizen or not. We have never had that conversation. So it's very important that you understand. And besides, I will refer you, Paddy.
You told me when we were in the plane.
Can I finish? You see, you have your turn. Why do you always intervene? Paddy, can you be civilized?
I'm not.
Yeah, try to be civilized. You always make me what I want to say. After this program, go and read Cameroon Nationality Law, 1968. It is there. Go and read it.
This is a waste of bullshit. I don't have time for all this.
There is dual nationalism in Cameroon. The nationality law says if you take another nationality, you lose your nationality. But in order to lose your nationality, at this Article 36, 37, 38, you have, if you are abroad, you have to go to the embassy and denounce it. If you don't, and then you have to register it in the Ministry of Justice. If you don't do that, you remain a Cameroonian. So there's dual nationality. Mbomo, who is playing in Manchester United, he was born in France, a French citizen. He's playing in Cameroon, he's a Cameroonian. That's dual nationality. Go and read your laws. Don't come in public arena and be misleading the people. Read the law. They say if you're a Cameroonian woman, you married to a foreigner person, you maintain your Cameroon citizen, you have dual nationality. Read the law in its entirety. Most of you come in public domain, you say things and you mislead people without reading the laws. It's very important. I know when we come and talk here, you make allegation or what. I can say, anybody, whether you have to stay in this country, you can practice law in the United Kingdom. There are things I will not be mean to say about you, but in general, I will speak in general terms. If you have a criminal record in any country, in the Western country, you will not be able to practice politics. But in Cameroon, you can do that. So sometimes when we come and talk, I wouldn't go that mean. If I want to be mean on you on this program, Paddy, you will not love it, but I wouldn't be mean because I know you and so far. If you want to talk, let's talk.
So I know you too. So I know you too.
You don't know me, Paddy. I've never seen you since we left CPC, Paddy. It's my turn to talk. Paddy, it's my turn.
You know me, right?
Paddy, it's my turn.
You know me, but I don't know you.
Paddy, it's my turn. I know you in CPC, Bali. That's it. After that, I've never seen you in my life.
Let me tell you something.
Listen, it's my turn. Can I speak? Paddy, can I speak? Paddy, go and Google. Go and Google. Is Maitre Mola Alex is practicing solicitor in this thing? Google will give you. Go and Google. I don't talk with mouth. Google. So I don't come and run my mouth. Is Maitre Alex is practicing solicitor in UK? Google will give you that. So I don't come and run my mouth. So when you come here, you want to talk. Know who you're talking to. I have a profession. Okay? I respect people. We have what they call solicitor professional conduct. We don't talk anyhow like this in public. Else, my regulatory body will deal with me. So I don't talk like you. The things you say, we are being regulated. We know how we talk in public. So my point is, you made a statement today, Paddy, about me, that all people come and copy and paste. The reason I show you my book is that I wrote this 30 years ago. I'm not copying and paste. That's the essence I'm saying. So I don't use my mouth. I have evidence to show you. And when you keep on standing, you keep on saying, I know. I used to be in Yaoundé with Siga Asanga when I was in Bastos. He was living there. You make mouth, you don't even know them. Akobaye Richard, we're there. My cousin. So sometimes you talk about people you don't know. Siga Asanga was sacked by Fundi. Today you're going there, you're making Fundi. So let's be honest. I did not see you trying to stand as a chairman of SDF. So let's be honest. When we come, it's about ideology. I don't stand here to be annoyed with you. At the end of the day, I have my concern about Anglophone. Most of you, especially SDF, you have a political party. Sort out Anglophone, your policy inside SDF. Let other people sort out their own. I study from Cameroon to Ngwakele. I learned a lot in Cameroon. I came abroad to have learned a lot. I know that sometimes people have different culture, how to solve it. We in Cameroon, we have this problem, which I've learned. In the United Kingdom, I've got 4 countries, different cultures. So how did they solve it? They gave decentralization. And Scotland have a parliament. They have a first minister. Northern Ireland have a parliament and first minister. Where's all country? Because different culture. So that is how you solve the problem. In Quebec, they have similar problem like us in Cameroon. That's how you do it. In Catalonia, they have different problems. So we can copy the good things. When we talk about, we say colonial structure. In United Kingdom, they have the British value. What's the British value? Individual liberty, mutual respect, tolerance, democracy, and rule of law. So can we say it's colonial culture? No. We all need tolerance, mutual respect, rule of law, and democracy. That's British value. You Google it. So we should learn, not say, oh, it's colonial. What's a colonial? It's to respect you, is it colonial? To be tolerant, is it colonial? To have rule of law, is it colonial? To have democracy, is it colonial? Accountability, transparency. So when we talk, rather than say, oh, Meta is saying this, state what I'm saying. I'm telling you, I love the British value. I love mutual respect, that's it. I love tolerance, that's it. I love the rule of law, and I love democracy. So when we talk, let's not just say this colonial thing. Let's say what we are saying. In India, they are using British value. In America, they are using British value. In Pakistan, they are using British value. British value is clear. Let's not make that mistake and be using that word colonialism on and on. It's about what? Mutual respect. I speak with Mandwa, I respect you. Tolerance. I speak with Mandwa, I respect Mandwa, or whatsoever. Buddy, you can be talking, I can go on my phone now, right now, and I can remove a picture you were in chain. Nobody have ever seen it in public. They chain your hand in Kondenge. I've never put it in public. I'm the only one who have that picture. Why were you arrested and chained in Kondenge? In your own
because I am who I am.
I'm fighting for you. Paddy, I have the picture with me here. You arrested and chained. We went and removed you from prison.
You never remove
anybody. Me and Dr. Lambert, we went to remove you in prison.
You clown.
We went to remove, you were chained. I'll make that picture public. I've never published it for 5 years.
I am happy.
You were arrested because
now.
of this, your attitude. Buddy, you have the picture. I'll make it public. I've told you now. For the first time after 5 years.
Why are you keeping it?
Why were you arrested in your country? Why were you arrested? Because
my country.
Why were you arrested in Kondenge? Chain. We went to prison. We removed you with Dr. Lamba. Mandwa knows Dr. Lamba. Mandwa knows Dr. Lamba. You were arrested because you're not fit to be a Cameroonian. We went to court. We removed you, Paddy. We removed you from prison. We went there with Dr. It's on fact. I have your picture with chains. We went. I bought bread for you. You were so slim like this. My sister cooked a kwan for you. You were slim like this, Paddy.
Well, please. Paddy, sorry, definitely it's getting too personal, and let's get back to the debate topic which we have for today, which had to do with President Biya'S 8th term. That's our focus, and we're looking at what is supposed to change, and definitely if something is going to change. And I'm just so sorry that the debate is getting a bit personal, and let's get back to point of focus. We'll be running off in just a few minutes. I just want to get last comments from you, Paddy Asanga, without emotions and without taking it personal. Or let's talk about Cameroon and let's talk about Biya'S 8th term. Now, in just briefly, what's your message to Cameroonians? We're looking towards the municipal and parliamentary elections. That's where we think a change that's going to affect the Cameroonians in local areas is going to come from. If the presidential system has failed, probably parliamentarians can do better. Do you think we can have parliamentarians that will do better under the same system, which we've not seen meaningful change in 40 years? In this 8th term, what's your message, Paddy Asanga?
Listen, Luis, like I said at the beginning of this conversation, the only thing that is constant is change. And we have had parliamentarians who people have hailed them for what they have done. We have had municipal councillors, we have had mayors with very clean records. But I also think that Cameroon shall not be governed by impostors and should not take injunctions from impostors. I come from a very rich political background, notwithstanding from the days of my secondary school up to the universities and all that stuff. Those pictures are old. And when we want to talk about the political philosophy that I stand for, it is inclusive and participative. And one of the pillars of that ideology is late Dr. Siga Asanga, who is lying in my village in front of my compound. I am talking about my compound. So it has nothing to do with general. And on the 26th of May, 2025, we drummed up the SDF to go and pay them last respect and to keep the flame burning. So there is a window, and this is how it happens. You have to go into the Cameroonian constitution and read what the Cameroonian constitution says. This constitution also has the president has the power to dissolve the parliament if he wishes so. But the current context is very particular and is very peculiar in the sense that if the opposition succeeds to get a majority, they will either force a law through, or Mr. Biya will get himself in a perpetual sequence of dissolving the parliament, which will only radicalize the people and get more opposition. And at the end of the day, he will have a vote of no confidence where things must change. So any person who is just about his or herself will come out with some dietary, that first person singular, I. But we are talking about a collective political entity with a consciousness, with an identity, and with a clear-cut agenda. Are we defending our political heritage that we brought from Nigeria? Are we defending our anthropological heritage that we had before the colonialists ever came? Or do we want to merge those entities and forge a way forward? That's how we are looking at it from that perspective. But I feel very disappointed because I made that choice not to pick up as somebody who has I'm not a practicing legal mind, but I also studied law, particularly here. And when you are a legal mind, not the things to do. You go around the law, you don't violate the law. And the law says I could also become a German, but I deliberately refuse to become a Cameroonian. By the 6th of November 2026, I will be 30 years in Germany. After my dismissal from the university as a member of the student parliament, I don't want to talk about myself, but I want to say that I am a foot soldier in my political party. I am a foot soldier as far as the Anglophone crisis and the Anglophone quest is concerned. I am a fervent advocate for an Anglophone president, and I stand behind this idea of an Anglophone caucus in parliament. I would not trade my nationality for anything, and I will not meddle myself in German politics and still claim that I know a lot about Cameroonian politics. That is called political and moral ethics. It is not about sitting on Facebook, and when it's time to go down on the field and do the job, I'm not doing the job. So our local authorities, the religious leaders, our chiefs, they should be talking to our children and put forward to them this perspective that we are glamoring and promoting on your platform. And I think that there is always a way forward. There is no problem that is not equal to the people who are facing that problem. We have the solution, but we need different strategies to get to where we want to get to. And I also think that if those who are supposedly have won the mandate for the next 7 years are sincere, like I heard in the speeches, maybe some new laws will come into place that will be able to diffuse the political tension that is existing, and Anglophone identity or Anglophone caucus or protecting the Anglophone interest as a political entity is primordial, because it is also part of our identity abroad. That's why you have a lot of people, Cameroonians in France because they speak French. You have Cameroonians in England because it's England. You have many Cameroonians migrating to Canada because they have that bilingual culture. And there's a generation that is very fluent in English and French. You have them in Canada, trained by the Cameroonian taxpayers. We need to put deterrent policies together that when we train our people, they should serve us and not go and serve a different country because they have better wages, they have better salaries or better working conditions. So I will not come and sit here to talk about my prowesses or to talk as if I'm a social consultant who has never consulted anybody, or I'm a lawyer who has never won any case in court. So I raise my case and let's move forward. Thank you.
Thank you, Biya'S. We appreciate that very much, and we have to move forward despite whatever is happening. And Dr. Julius, we're expecting to hear what's your last message to Cameroonians based on the aspects which you've been emphasizing. Mr. Biya'S made several promises, and we're looking towards the implementation of these promises he has made, even though some of the promises made during his last mandate have not been fulfilled, many of them. What's your last message to those watching you? You said continuity is not stagnation.
Thank you very much, Mr. Luis. And I want to thank all the members of the panelists for this heated debate. They say that family squabble is a storm in a teacup. We are arguing today here not because we hate each other. It is because of the love that we have for our nation. I have seen the emotions flare. It is not because we want to undermine any other person, but because we want to push our point across. But at the end of the day, there is no winner for this debate today, and there is no loser. I think the only person that wins today is the Republic of Cameroon. Whether it is a colonial construct or it is not a colonial construct, that construct is made up of us, Cameroonians, born in Cameroon or have taken another nationality. When I was talking about citizenship, we are talking about the Republican citizenship based on the constitutions and the laws of Cameroon. But we have our legal luminary here who has clarified that non-citizens of Cameroon or Cameroonians who took up another citizenship will still retain their nationality in Cameroon. And I think I will be encouraging a lot of very fine Cameroonians who are in the diaspora who were scared that they cannot go back home and run for public office because they have foreign nationality, that they should solicit our legal luminary, Maître Alex Diver Lissinger, to make sure that their applications to run for local elections are not denied by ELECAM and the Constitutional Council. So this is a very good point that came from this debate today, that I'm talking now, calling on all Cameroonians in the diaspora that has tasted good life and that have been well educated to take advantage of the local elections that are coming, to go in there and register and campaign furiously in order to start politics at the local level. For politics is local. I had written extensively condemning, I will continue to call names, condemning Professor Maurice Kamto as a politician who is only looking for the presidency. And I really condemned his actions as a political mistake for not running for local elections, which costed him his ability to run as a presidential candidate. I can be quoted for saying that Professor Maurice Kamto is a legal luminary, but is a very unsavvy politician, for he could not know how to deal his cards. And they used his own actions to undermine his own candidate. So I'm calling on political hopefuls in the diaspora to go home now and to participate in local elections. For if the opposition has majority in the parliament, they could be able now to participate in all kinds of caucuses in order to bring the kind of development that they do envisage. Having said that, at the point of a scholar, let me go back into my position as a politician. I am a CPDM politician, and the objective of any political party is to stay in power till kingdom come. Anybody who does not believe in that should check their heads. So, our party has a way forward. I am speaking first as a scholar, secondly as a practicing politician that have practiced politics in Cameroon, in Fako, and in Meme. And I'm in America. I am an active participant in political life of my party. The CPDM government has achieved a lot, and we have put in decentralization. And decentralization is a work in progress. And now, the septenant that we do have now, we want to thank Cameroonians for giving our candidate that resounding victory despite the noise. That noise can never translate into votes. That the CPDM, because it's a well-structured party from all subdivisions, villages to the capital and abroad, it is very difficult. I don't say it is impossible. It is really difficult to beat us, conscious of incumbency role and incumbency advantages. So those who say that they cannot win because they lack the structure on the ground to really muster and win elections. So those political aspirants in Cameroon should not wait until election week to go and try to win elections. They should start now and reorganize the political parties so that they can have structures on the ground. Don't wake up in June and resign and think that you're going to win election in October. It is impossible. So those who are aspiring to go and run for local elections should start now, be on the ground, put boots on the ground, knock the doors, do what I call the GCCM, the Grassroots Cafeteria Campaign Model, which I have my book on Amazon. It is called Politics Where People Live. If you buy that book, you will win your local elections because you are going to be where everybody is. You are going to go to cafeterias, you are going to go to bars, you are going to go to restaurants, you are going to go to the market, you have to meet the voters where they are, and you tell them what you have for them, you listen, and you articulate policies and your campaign messaging from what you hear from them. When you do these things, you will not cry foul that your election has been stolen from you. You will know that you did not do the groundwork. We are scholars, we are campaign managers. We know how to win elections, and we cannot invest ourselves in that election and we lose. Naysayers and ignorant people cannot beat us until they learn to get the experts to help them. So I want to say that in this next 7 years, our action plan is guided into 4 pillars. Pillar number 1, to deepen the deepening of decentralization, which is the engine of Vision 2035. There will be automatic transfer to councils and regions of funds. There will be local economic zones, strengthening municipal taxation. There will be digitalization of the government at both national and local level. Let me dwell in the strengthening of municipal taxation. As of now in Cameroon, our tax system in the local councils are being assessed and collected by the divisional delegation of taxation. And then they have to get a remittance and send to the council within that area. This does not yet give them the financial autonomy that they need. So when they will reform, which I think there's a law passed already that is pending implementations, where local councils should be able to have the manpower, to have the skilled staff, not that mayors will continue to appoint their white brothers as finance officers without the acumen of financial mobilizations. This is a problem within all political parties. Councils are flooded with very incompetent staff. The central government has elevated CEFAM into a national school of local administration, where now each council will be able to sponsor their administrative officials and their finance managers so that they can take advantage of what is available in the national decentralization law. Number 2, we are going to accelerate, that is the acceleration of industrial policy. This principle is guided in import replacement and export push. We reduce our importation of basic goods and we produce them where we can be able to export some to Central Africa, to Equatorial Guinea, and to Nigeria. When we go into this kind of alignment, we are going to be able to convert our raw materials like palm oil, cocoa, rice, and maize into other finished goods, and then we consume them and export some. TSU, the final phase of public sector modernization. Paul Biya talked and called on politicians not to use foreign influencers, foreigners, to destabilize and destroy our nation. They should be part of modernizing the government and the economy. These reforms depend on some leadership terms that conceive them. A new leader organizes ministries and reform strategies that will enable us to harness the industrial revolution. Like yesterday, the 7th, the Minister of Trade sent out a circular, you can Google it, saying that all subdivisional and divisional delegates of trade should make it easy for young people to have authorizations to create companies and to have authorization to produce things, that it should be expedited, and there will be financial assistance to any youth who comes out with a feasible policy to produce, to make manufacture stuff. So now, at the last stage, now in this septennium, the completion of the national reconciliation and the DDR, there will be consolidation of the special status that is already in place, that has given the local government in the Northwest and Southwest special status to put in very giant projects. If you are sincere to yourself, Google the projects that are being completed or envisaged and in progress in the regional house of Northwest and in Southwest. There is a rice project that is coming up in Northwest. There is a gas project coming in Kumba that is under the direct sponsorship of the special status government. So our country has the pathway, the structure. We only need to forget about our past differences and to put ourselves together to assist this new septennium so that we can achieve Vision 2035. Let me now conclude by saying why a leadership change now is dangerous. It is very dangerous at this time to have a leadership change. Number 1, primo, it will fracture the policy coherence required to finish Vision 2035. If we bring in somebody right now, all what we have made and achieved will be destroyed, and we will start infighting that will take us 400 years behind.
All right.
Number 2, I have 2 more points. Number 2, it will.
Dr. Julius.
Dr.
Okay,
Julius,
the last one now.
Dr. Julius,
Cameroon is at the final decade of 30 years national vision. At such a moment, stability is not a luxury. It is a development tool. President Biya'S 8th term offers the continuity required to complete decentralization, consolidate security, accelerate industrialization, and deliver results for the Vision 2035. Change will come, but it must come at a moment that preserves progress, not impedes it. Cameroon must change the pilot at the plane only when it is necessary. I rest my case, and I wish you all a very memorable weekend, and we shall continue to discuss this, and this is a work in progress, that we can build Cameroon to a more better Cameroon for all of us and for our children.
Well, thank you very much, Dr. Julius. Now, I just want to talk with you briefly, Bertrand Alex Ndive. You've been quoted on the aspect of Cameroon nationality. I just wanted to comment briefly on that before I conclude with my Merlindua.
Oh, about Cameroon nationality, yeah. I would say Cameroon, the 1968 law makes it clear that if you get another nationality, you lose your nationality. But it goes on now. There's a procedure in order to lose that nationality. In order to lose it, I'm sure it's about Article 36, 37 section, not Article 36, 37, 38. If you are in Cameroon, you have another nationality, you have to go to court. The court, you have to register it. Then they have to take it to the Ministry of Justice. Then they have to register it. If you don't do that, you still remain a Cameroonian. If you are abroad, like in the UK or America, you have to go to the embassy or high commission. You have to go and register it there. Then they have to register it in Ministry of Justice in Cameroon. They say if you don't do that, it's void, which means they don't accept it, which means you have dual nationality. So everybody who have acquired foreign nationality, if you haven't followed that process, it means you have dual nationality. So I don't know how many people have followed that process. That's the law. So people just come and say, then they say, if you're a woman, you marry a foreigner, you still maintain your Cameroon nationality, so you have dual nationality. I often quote like somebody, this Manchester player, Mbomo, he was born in France, he has French nationality. Then he's playing in Cameroon, he has Cameroon nationality. Dual means having two nationality simultaneously. So Mbomo, the player, have French nationality and Cameroon nationality. That's dual. Let's not make it as if it's rocket science.
Mm-hmm. All right. But
they have a lot of dual nationality in Cameroon.
Luis.
30 seconds.
I will not sit here and let people be misled. We have a recent case that comes from the 2020 local elections, and I'll call it Eve Manuel Com. He's not my friend, he's of the CPDM. He tried to run for elections as a parliamentarian, I think it was for Vuri 1, that is in Douala, and he was kicked away because he had a French nationality. So people have...
That's political.
I'm not talking about politics. I'm talking about facts.
They do that political.
I'm talking about facts. When I'm talking about facts, stay quiet. You are a British citizen.
Why are you warning people? Don't
Padi, I gave you 30 seconds just for... All right.
So, there is the case of Eve Manuel Com that speaks, and anybody, you can renounce your foreign nationality and still have your resident permit and you run for local election. But you cannot say, given the current dispensation of the law, that you can run having dual nationality. It doesn't work. I think we have the case of Eve Manuel Com that Merchant Wana put forward at the Constitutional Council and so on. So there is a precedent. I don't come here to say things, quote things that people are not verifiable. Those things exist. I'm a pragmatician. So my arrest my case. Thank you.
Yeah, all right, Paja Sanga. Now, just to make it clear, of course, Cameroon law does not officially accept or recognize dual nationality under its current laws as of 2025. And, of course, this means that if you voluntarily require or acquire citizenship in another country, generally, you probably risk losing your Cameroonian, citizenship. But just like Meta said, probably we're going to see how verify the procedures which... of course, like you said, which are involved before you can lose your nationality. My Merlindua, You have the floor, and I'm giving you the privilege, like the only woman on the panel this evening, to share
Thank
with us your closing
you.
statement. Yeah, just generally. Yeah.
Very briefly, I do want to say that I know Cameroonians really respect their women, so I really want to thank my brothers. And that's why I was told at the embassy that the Cameroonian woman never loses her nationality. Cameroon does not allow the women to lose their nationality. So I just wanted to put that out there. But Luis, to close, I want to say that this is an opportunity. Mr. Bia has a singular opportunity to bow out of politics in style with a bang. And he can do that. We are going to hold his foot to the fire. He can bow out by giving Cameroon a very bright future. We want to see the ruling government to build on the momentum that they claim they won the election, resounding victory, as my brother Julius said. They should build on that momentum. I want to see frequent ministerial councils. I don't want a ghost government where we don't see people, there's no ministerial council, where people are not held accountable, and that is the reason why we are calling on all Cameroonians, whether at home or abroad, those who can run for office. This is the time where everybody needs to run for office, because we need to hold these people accountable. We need to hold their foot to the fire. We need, as Julio said, the money is now going to be digitalized. All this money going to the council, because we keep looking at Mr. Bia and we fail to hold our local government people accountable. We need not for a caucus in parliament. We need people at the regional councils. We need to hold these people accountable, because my constituents, now Mami Benson way the step of for corner road. I want to make sure that her life is better. That her life change will come in Cameroon. Change is gonna come from the grassroots upwards. The level of the council, the level of the regions. Change will come from there and change the life of Mami Besem faster than change will come from Yaoundé. Said it, Louis. I say it all the time. When we have a vibrant Southwest, I'm from the Southwest. I fly from Washington, D.C. to Chico International Airport, and I go to the Southwest. I have no desire to go to Douala, what? To go and experience heat? Heat? I have no desire to go to Yaoundé to do what in Yaoundé? To climb mountains and hills? No desire. So that change, that vision that we have for our people is going to come when we have the local councils, the mayors, the regions are efficient. So a vibrant democracy, we are calling on a vibrant democracy, needs people who are informed. So we are calling on everybody. We are rooting for Cameroon. Anybody who is in Washington, D.C., who is planning to go and protest in front of the embassy, if you are in your house, please stay in your house and relax. There's no need. The elections are over. It's time for nation building. It's time to move the country forward. We are all on the same team. We are rooting for Cameroon. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ma Marilyn Dua. You are the host of Zoom In Show on AfroSat TV. Thank you very much, and we very much appreciate your time and your participation, your inputs on today's program. They were great, and we very much appreciate that. We had Dr. Julius Babila Taka. You're the chairman, CPDM US Campaign Task Force. You're a political scientist and media consultant. Dr. Julius Ikole, we thank you and we appreciate your inputs on today's program. Padia Sanga, militant of the Social Democratic Front FDF Party. Thank you very much for being there. We acknowledge your input and we appreciate your time equally. Thank you very much. We had Maitre Alex Ndive. You're a legal expert. We appreciate you very much, Met, your time always for being on the show. And thank you for being there.
I thought you were going to come back to me. You just want to ask me about the nationality law, because I was going to say something about decentralization. Because we talk about decentralization. It's not a process. Decentralization and federalism, there's little difference. All of them is about transfer of powers. The difference between federalism and decentralization is that decentralization is the central government that gives it to you, while federalism is enacted like in the Constitution. Decentralization is about transfer power like health, education, justice, transport, local government, environment, that's decentralization. Decentralization is not a process, as sometimes Diongute they say. It's transfer power to give people the power to do their own things. We have decentralization in the United Kingdom. And some constitutional expert will tell you that it is what? Federalism. That's what they argue. I'm talking about what constitutional expert they say, Mr. Tucker. They say they decentralize, they argue legal argument. And I will also say my last point is, in politics or in life, people who don't have CV are afraid to talk about themselves. I'm proud to talk about my CV.
No,
That I fought for GCE board, that I fought for multipartism, that I fought for tripartite, that I went to sleep in the embassy in London for us to have major national.
Your last point was supposed to be on with reference to the topic which we had for the day. Thank you very much, Med. We appreciate your time. Thank you. And just to apologize to all of you who tried to get to us via WhatsApp, it was very much impossible. We're sorry for the technical difficulties. We could not get your calls via WhatsApp. And we want to appreciate those of you who are watching us via Facebook or watching us back at home. We invite you to stay glued to African Media. Continue watching our programs. And we shall be here again, of course, to discuss more issues that shape the nation, Cameroon, shape other nations, and why not? We discuss issues that shape Africa as a whole. Thank you very much. Stay with African Media. And a very big thank you to our technician, Eric, who did a wonderful job as well, being there for us throughout this program. Thank you. Have a wonderful time and stay listening to African Media. Bye-bye.
Thank you.